Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Crossing the Ninja World, the beginning became Uchiha Obito. Chapter 61. As for Asura, Indra, and the story of the Sage of the Six Paths Itsuki Yuki, it goes back further. Obito said. The mother of the Sage of the Six Paths Itsuki Yoromo is named Itsuki Kagaya, and she is from the Itsuki clan from an alien planet. After she came to Ninja World, she married a man from the local tribe and gave birth to Itsuki Yuya and Itsuki Yukin. After Itsuki Kagaya swallowed the fruit of the sacred tree, Itsuki Yoromo and Itsuki Yumura joined forces to seal Itsuki Kagaya. And Itsuki Kagaya now has only one will wandering outside, named Highway. Later, Itsuki Yumura went to the moon, and Itsuki Yuya stayed in the ninja world. He had two sons, one was Indra, who inherited the power of reincarnation eyes and Lu Dao Yin, and his descendants were later the Uchiha clan. Strength. The battle between Ashura and Indra started from the first generation, and almost every reincarnation today will fight, which is actually inseparable from the behind-the-scenes operation of Heizi, because the purpose of Heizi is to revive Itsuki Kagaya. Both the Asura clan and the Indra clan belong to the descendants of the sages of the Six Paths, and their ancestors also came from the moon. But a long time ago, the war between Asura and Indra had reached a fever pitch, and their conflict had even sublimated into a death feud. No matter how hard their descendants tried, their final ending would be a dead end. Not only that, the descendants of Asura would be controlled by the reincarnation eye and be imprisoned in that world forever. There have been some strong people among their descendants over the years, but no matter what, in the end, you can't escape your fate. Why did Highway do this? Sensho Zuma broke out in a cold sweat. This guy was too insidious, and now he wondered whether the conflicts between him and Madara were caused by Highway's repeated troubles. Heizi tampered with the family monument of the Uchiha clan, making Uchiha Madara mistakenly think that the 10 tails synthesized by the 9 big-tailed beasts can realize the technique of infinite Tsukiyomi, and the entire ninja world can sleep in the illusion, creating a world of eternal peace and pain. However, what he doesn't know is that the family monument has been modified by Heizi long ago. 10 tails can only resurrect the sacred tree and Otsutsuki Kagaya. The so-called infinite Tsukiyomi is actually just turning people into white. It's so scary. Senjujuma turned pale with shock. I didn't expect that someone as smart as Uchiha Madara would be turned around by Highway. Well, indeed, although Uchiha Madara is very powerful, he has never been in contact with these things after all, so he doesn't know these things at all. Heizi is really hiding his secrets. Obito nodded, agreeing with Heizi's scheming. You said that as if you knew it very well. Itachi rolled his eyes. Of course, I have dealt with Highway for many years. I know what this guy is thinking better than anyone else. Obito said confidently. How long have you known him, and how do you know what he's thinking? Have you known each other for a long time? I haven't known him for long, but I know his weaknesses, and I can tell you. What weakness? I haven't dealt with Highway for a day or two, but I know what his shortcomings are. What shortcoming? Heiju doesn't have much fighting power. What Heiju is best at is escaping into the ground and manipulating others by attaching to other people's bodies. But now Uchiha Madara's body has been burned by me, and he doesn't know where he has gone now. It is estimated that he will have to fool a chess piece to resurrect his mother. That's true, he will never reveal his true identity easily. Take Soil Road. In short, you also know that the ninja world will definitely not be peaceful in the future. I hope you can help me, and in the future after Itsuki Kagaya, other Itsuki clans will come to the ninja world from aliens. At that time, the ninja world will still be in greater danger. Hearing what Obito said, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tomona all looked dignified. The entire ninja world might not be able to deal with one Otsutsuki Kagaya, let alone other Otsutsuki clans coming to the ninja world. Fengjian and I understand what you said, but this matter is not something that the two of us can do if we say we can do it. We need to form a force that is strong enough, and we must find many helpers who can help us. Thousands of hands said between the doors. Obito said, this is simple, you can just join our Akatsuki organization directly. This. Sensho Fama and Senshujuma looked at each other, apparently none of them thought that Obito would actually make such a request. Don't worry, as long as we are willing to cooperate, we can form a huge force to deal with the crisis in the ninja world. Obito said. All right. Both Sensho Fama and Sensho Zujian agreed. After all, they had no choice, and now only Obito's Akatsuki organization was left to rely on. Since you have agreed to me, then we will talk about the details of cooperation next. Take Soil Road. On the other side, the battle between Konoha's Jonin and Orochimaru, Uchiha Itachi, and Uchiha Sasuke has also reached a fever pitch. At this time, Kakashi, Nara, Shikohisa and the others were all in a mess and bruised, and Orochimaru, especially Uchiha Itachi, also consumed a lot. Kakashi, it seems that I'm going to explode my youth. Madokai came here not long after saving the civilians. Just now he opened the 8th Dunjia 5th door Duman and found that the strength is still far behind the other 3. 8th door Dunjia, 6th view gate, open. With a loud roar, Madokai's veins bulged, and green steam came out of his body. Towards the peacock, Madokai jumped high, and began to quickly rub the air downwards, shooting out a hot stream of flames and air, attacking Uchiha Itachi and the other 3. HMPH. Uchiha Sasuke sneered, and brandished the Kusanagi knife in his hand, and suddenly a huge Chidori flew towards Madokai, which was his best move. Boom! The huge flame hit the Chidori flow, smashing the Chidori flow into pieces in an instant, but the power of the flame bomb was also amazing, and it still fell towards the 3 of them. Sasuke, be careful. Seeing Hoyon falling towards the 3 of them, Uchiha Itachi immediately reminded him. Sasuke also reacted quickly, and quickly cast the earth escape, wrapping Sasuke in an instant, and the flame bomb hit the earth wall behind Sasuke and exploded, blasting a huge hole in the earth wall. Sasuke, are you okay? Uchiha Itachi asked hurriedly. Sasuke's figure came out of the pothole, and it seemed that he was not hurt. I'm fine, it's just a skin injury. Uchiha Sasuke looked at Uchiha Itachi and smiled, then stepped the knife in his hand on the ground. The kaleidoscope Sharingan stared in Sasuke's eyes, and the fire of Amaterasu burned towards Madokai. What? Madokai was burned by the fire of Amaterasu and screamed in pain, but he didn't stop. Madokai attacks Sasuke with an air cannon while running. Sasuke used Amaterasu's fire to attack Madokai continuously, but Madokai dodged it at an extremely fast speed. The 7th shock door, open. With a roar, Madokai opened one of the 8 Dunjia doors again. The green steam began to turn into blue steam, and this chakra wave directly disperses the Amaterasu fire on his body. What? Sasuke was shocked when he saw this scene. This was the first time he saw someone disperse the flame that he could not extinguish. Is this the strongest state of the rumored Baman Dunjia? Sasuke fixed his eyes on Madokai. No matter what state it is, I must kill you today. Sasuke looked at Madokai with killing intent in his eyes. This is just the 7th gate of the Baman Dunjia, and there is the 8th gate of death behind it. After opening the gate of death, the caster will also die. Orochimaru knew a little about the Baman Dunjia, licked his lips, and said, Day Tiger. Madokai quickly fired the white tiger air cannon and flew towards Sasuke. HMPH, you dare to deal with me with this little trick. Seeing the oncoming air cannon, Sasuke snorted coldly, swiped the Kusanagi knife in his hand quickly, and thunder and lightning Chidori flew out quickly, offsetting part of the momentum of the air cannon. Susanoo. Sasuke saw that Chidori couldn't resist the Hiroto air cannon, so he could only activate the skeleton of Susanoo's first form. Boom! The Day Tiger air cannon hit the skeleton of Susan, and even broke the skeleton of Susan. How is it possible? Sasuke's pupils shrank slightly. This was the first time his Susanoo skeleton was broken. Ha 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 ha, nothing is impossible. Madokai laughed seeing Sasuke's Susanoo being destroyed. Sasuke was sent flying more than 10 meters by the Day Tiger air cannon, and fell to the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Kai, let me help you. Kakashi's subordinates took Rachel and attacked Orochimaru from the side. Boom! Orochimaru kicked out a kick with his right leg, breaking Kakashi's attack. Kakashi, you are not my opponent, you accept your fate. Orochimaru gave a cold snort, and was about to attack again. Not good. Madokai saw that Orochimaru was about to attack Kakashi, so he stood up quickly, trying to stop him. Whirlwind Konoha. Madokai kicked his legs on the ground, swung his legs, and a hurricane blew past, blowing away the attack of Orochimaru. Kakashi, come back quickly, Madokai yelled. Although Kakashi was injured by Orochimaru's attack, he still rushed over, and a serious expression appeared on Orochimaru's face. Water escape water Dragon Ball technique. Kakashi quickly formed a seal, and a huge water column quickly fell from the sky and flew towards Orochimaru. Seeing this, Orochimaru quickly backed away, but because of the relatively short distance, he was hit by the huge water column. Orochimaru's body flew backwards, but because Orochimaru's speed was relatively slow, the water column hit his shoulder, and Orochimaru's shoulder suddenly sank. Kakashi, you dare to sneak attack, you are looking for death. Orochimaru looked at Kakashi with an angry look on his face. Kakashi also sneered when he heard Orochimaru's words, and said, Oshimaru, you attacked Konoha and killed Sandai Hokage, I must stop you. Thousands of snakes bite me. Orochimaru summoned hundreds of poisonous snakes in his hand, spitting poisonous poison at Kakashi. Fire escape, torrential rain pear blossom. Kakashi yelled loudly, forming mudras with his hands, and dozens of huge fireballs appeared immediately, spraying towards Orochimaru's poisonous snake. Bang bang bang. Two huge ninjutsu collided together, and a violent wave of flames erupted. Boom. The collision of the two ninjutsu produced a large amount of smoke, which made Orochimaru and others unable to see the battle situation in the smoke. Kakashi, you are still too young. Orochimaru came out of the smoke, patted the dust off his body and said coldly. Really? Kakashi glanced at Orochimaru and said. Humph. Orochimaru rushed towards Kakashi holding the Sky Snake sword in his hand. Kakashi held kunai in his hand, and the two fought again. So strong. Orochimaru is really powerful. Mate Kai's face was slightly dignified when he saw this scene. Li Lianhua. Mate Kai quickly jumped into the sky, and then rushed towards Orochimaru with a hurricane. Orochimaru quickly made a seal. Water escape Shui Chongbo. Boom. A huge water column fell from the sky, suppressing Mate Kai who had just jumped up. Mate Kai was suppressed by the water column, and his body kept falling. Day Tiger. Mate Kai roared, and another Day Tiger air cannon shot towards Orochimaru. Boom. The Sky Snake sword in Orochimaru's hand swung quickly, and a blue light shot out, trying to offset the power of the Day Tiger air cannon, but the Sky Snake sword broke directly when it touched the Day Tiger. Orochimaru's face became more and more ugly. At this time, a black vortex appeared in front of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru's body was directly sucked into the black vortex. Shinwei space, with soil. Kakashi's pupils shrank, and when he saw this distorted black space, he recognized that it was Obito's Kamui space. Kakashi, stay safe. After Obito rescued Orochimaru, he walked out of the Kamui space with a smile on his face. It's this dangerous guy again. Hyuga Hyuzu's face sank when he saw it, his white eyes opened, and he quickly slapped the 8-diagram Sixiong Kongzong towards Obito. Whoosh! 4 light blades hit Obito from all directions. Yin escaped 4-phase demon sealing. Obito formed seals with his hands, and 4 beams of light burst out from between his hands, dispelling all 4 attacks. Hinata saw that Obito diffused his attack so easily, and his heart shuddered, knowing that the opponent's strength must be terrifying. Fire escape sea breeze. Kakashi leapt high and spit out a ball of flames towards Obito. Kakashi, do you think you can defeat me with your level of attack? Obito smiled coldly and quickly sealed his hands. Shish! There was a sharp piercing sound, and darts flew out from between Obito's palms. Boom! Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Thousands of shurikens appeared and shot towards Kakashi Hyuga Hinata. Kakashi saw that his defense was not good enough, so he could only dodge. Whoosh! Suddenly, the heavenly snake sword in Orochimaru's hand came out, turning into a white snake and rushing towards Kakashi. Kakashi saw Orochimaru's white snake rushing towards him, his expression changed, and he immediately dodged to the side. Mate Kai hurried over and shot several super peacock air cannons at Obito's shadow clone shuriken. Bang bang bang, crack, click, thousands of shurikens collided with the peacock flames, and there was a crackling sound, and thousands of shurikens were shattered, leaving only dozens of shurikens. Too done too luby. Kakashi slapped the ground, and a mud flow wall appeared on the ground to block the remaining shadow clone shuriken. Shadow clone technique. Obito separated several shadow clones and attacked Kakashi together. Humph! Kakashi let out a cold snort, jumped up suddenly, flew over one of the shadow clones, clamped the head of the shadow clone with his legs, and smashed it to the ground forcefully. The shadow clone was smashed to the ground, and was immediately pressed down by Kakashi, and the shadow clone also disappeared at the same time. Boom! The ground exploded, and the other shadow clones continued to attack Kakashi, but Kakashi also defeated the other shadow clones with Rachel. Kakashi's speed was very fast, and he solved the two shadow clones in a blink of an eye. Madokai rushed to those shadow clones immediately, and a large whirlwind of leaves killed all the shadow clones. Obito jumped into the air, and the kaleidoscope Sharingan released divine power, and at the same time spewed out flames from its mouth. Fire escape storm dance. Call. The extremely violent pillar of fire shot up into the sky, sweeping towards Kakashi. Kakashi immediately used wind escape water spout to dissolve the flame impact. Earth dungeon earth wall. Kakashi used the soil escape again, pulling up the earth walls one after another to prevent the flame from advancing. Boom, boom. A series of loud noises were transmitted on the ground, and clods and rocks fell one after another, creating a mess. Obito looked at the scattered mounds of soil, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Hee. Although your ninjutsu is powerful, how many seconds can you last under the burning of the flame? Kakashi's eyes were solemn, and Yamato at the side cast mudden, forming a tree vine on the ground, entwining Obito. Senior Kakashi. Seeing this, Yamato at the side immediately ran forward to help Kakashi block the flames. At this time, Yamato's right arm had already started to turn black, which shows how hot the flames were when Obito used Baku's Ranwu just now. Wood escape explosive gun tree. Yamato took advantage of Obito's unpreparedness to use the wooden escape again. A long spear made of countless branches stabbed towards Obito, and Obito saw it and immediately avoided it. Whoosh! The spear penetrated Obito's left shoulder, and a hole appeared in Obito's shoulder. Seeing this, Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief, but before he could relax his vigilance, he saw Obito's injuries recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Is it still not working? What kind of abnormal resilience is this? Kakashi smiled wryly. Yamato at the side was surprised for a short time, and then used the wooden escape one character ligature again. Bang bang bang. Countless wooden stakes emerged from the ground and went straight to Obito, while a thick wooden stake stood under Yamato's feet, and this wooden stake hit Obito's chest directly from below. Obito was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Yamato to have this trick, and immediately dodged it, but Yamato didn't stop the attack of the stake. Bang bang bang. Countless wooden stakes hit Obito's body one after another, and Obito kept retreating. Hurry up and finish it, Amaterasu. Sasuke on the side also rushed over after defeating the trio of Ikucho, and fired Amaterasu's fire at Yamato's wooden escape ninjutsu. Boom! Amaterasu's flame fell on the stake and burned up in an instant. What a terrifying ninjutsu, Sasuke, you are too good. Obito teased. Ha ha ha, it's nothing. Sasuke waved his hand modestly. Yamato, use that trick. Kakashi yelled at Yamato. Yeah, Yamato gritted his teeth, exhausted all his chakra, and summoned a huge wooden man. Wood escape, wooden man's art. This wooden man's art drained all of Yamato's chakra and physical strength, and Yamato collapsed to the ground. Huh, it's just a clone of Hashirama's cells. Can it actually use the jujutsu? Obito was a little surprised. Although the power of the jujube is definitely not as powerful as Senju Hashirama, it is still good for Yamato to be able to use it. Drink! Yamato roared, and the wooden figure more than 10 meters high rushed towards Obito and Sasuke. Sasuke looked at the wooden figure rushing towards him, his face changed slightly, he didn't dare to resist, and immediately dodged to the side, but Obito's reaction was very quick, and he directly blocked in front of Sasuke. Earth Dungeon Earth Dragon Flowing Bullets. Obito hit the wooden man's stomach viciously with an Earth Dragon bullet. Crack! The wooden man's body was shaken and damaged a little, but it didn't completely collapse. So strong. Sasuke was amazed at Obito's strength. Obito's ninjutsu is indeed powerful, but this level of ninjutsu can only break Yamato's wooden escape, and cannot really defeat Yamato. Humph! Seeing this, Kakashi snorted coldly. He didn't have much chakra left, so it depends on whether he can subdue Obito. Reikiri. This is Kakashi's improved Reikiri, whose power has reached the level of an S-class ninjutsu. Kakashi waved his right hand, and a blade with a blue arc flickering, slashed towards Obito with countless lightning arcs in the air. Earth Escape Water Wall. Obito summoned a water wall. Kakashi slashed at the water wall, but the water wall shattered instantly, only melting a small part of Kakashi's lightning strike. HMPH. Kakashi snorted coldly, continuing to push chakra. Crack. Fragments from the lightning strike fell on the water wall. The water wall quickly cracked, and then disintegrated, and the fragments fell, piercing Obito's left shoulder. Puff. Obito's right chest was pierced by Kakashi, but Obito's face remained unchanged. Thunderbolt Thunder Dragon Bullet. The skin of Obito's right arm quickly turned red, and a stream of red chakra spread on his right arm. The red chakra turned into a thunder snake and charged towards Kakashi. Kakashi was hit in the abdomen and flew upside down, blood spurting out of his mouth continuously. Kakashi, I didn't want to kill you, but you can't blame me if you want to die. Obito walked towards Kakashi and said indifferently. Come on, Obito, I won't lose if I can die in your hands. Kakashi said forcefully. Really? Obito punched Kakashi on the head, but Kakashi closed his eyes. Boom. At this moment, a group of golden spheres suddenly appeared in front of Kakashi, and beat Obito back. Obito was knocked back several meters. Obito, stop killing Kakashi. Obito looked at the owner of the voice not far away. I saw Namikaze Minato coming with the taller Naruto. Minato-sensei, and, Naruto. Kakashi's eyes widened when he saw the two who had saved him. Namikaze Minato led Naruto up to Kakashi. Naruto immediately rushed to hug him when he saw Kakashi, tears also fell out. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto. Looking at this situation, Kakashi felt warm in his heart. He knew that Naruto was worried about him, and that his student was really kind-hearted. Namikaze Minato looked at the two with a smile, then turned to Obito and said seriously, Obito, Kakashi was once your comrade in arms after all, do you really have the heart to attack him? Kakashi has always felt guilty for thinking that you died in the battle at Kanobi Bridge all these years, can't you spare his life? Gia. Obito laughed sinisterly. Why should I spare his life? He won't take me when he sees that the little emperor is making love to heaven, how could he be my good comrade in arms? Kakashi. Watergate. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2 Watergate speechless emotions. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Kakashi's emotional value of 3. Kakashi said, Teacher, you don't need to intercede for me. Obito saved me back then, but I didn't protect Lin well. This life should be regarded as returning to Obito and Lin. Naruto said hurriedly. Mr. Kakashi, I will never let you die. Minato looked at the two and shook his head helplessly. He knew that Kakashi was stubborn, but he could only dissuade them. If he forcibly stopped them, Kakashi would definitely not listen to them. Obito, you see that Kakashi has already said this to this extent, why are you being aggressive? Kakashi is already like this now. He lost his father since he was a child, and he has been living in guilt because of the death of you and Lin. Why do you have to kill him? Kakashi also nodded after hearing this. He knew what Minato said was right, he already looked like this now, and he really wanted to live anymore. Naruto stood in front of Obito, and said resolutely, Brother Obito, if you really want to attack Kakashi-sensei, I have no choice but to stop you. You used to be companions, didn't you? Naruto activated his mouth escape skill and chattered a lot. Obito was really annoying. Alright, let me see how far you have grown after absorbing the 9 Tails chakra. Take Soil Road. Obito shouted to Uchiha Sasuke, who was not far away to clean up the mess. Sasuke, it's your turn to play. Sasuke immediately ran over, nodded to Obito and said, My lord, I'm ready. Okay, Sasuke, I'll get rid of Kakashi first, and you can help me block Naruto for a while. Sasuke nodded immediately. Naruto couldn't help being taken aback when he heard Obito's promise, and then looked at Sasuke beside Obito in shock. You are Sasuke. How did you grow up so big? Naruto was astonished. Sasuke rolled his eyes helplessly, and said, Idiot Naruto, I'm from the future. What? Naruto opened his mouth wide in surprise. You're insulting me. I won't believe you're from the future. Sasuke snorted coldly. Naruto looked at Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei Satoshi. Is he really from the future? Kakashi sat on the ground and nodded, saying, Yes, although I don't know how Obito did it, but he did summon Sasuke from the future to our time and space. Sasuke from the future? Naruto asked doubtfully. He didn't know what this meant. Could it be that the existence of Sasuke was like the protagonist in a novel, who could travel through a certain timeline to other timelines? Isn't this the same as traveling back to the future? Is this true? Sasuke, you are awesome. Naruto praised loudly. The corner of Sasuke's mouth twitched, and he pulled out the Kusanagi knife and said to Naruto, Naruto, don't play tricks, you just admit defeat, now I can hang you with one hand. Naruto was furious when he heard the words, Sasuke, who do you look down on? Let me tell you, I have subdued Kyuubi, I should be the one who beat you with one hand. After hearing this, Kakashi couldn't help but exclaimed, you subdued Nine Tails. Naruto, you actually subdued Nine Tails. Is this true? Naruto raised his eyebrows proudly, and said, that's natural, I'm now a perfect Nine Tails Jinchuriki. I'm dying of laughter, so let me tell you how much you weigh. Sasuke sneered, and the Kusanagi knife wrapped in thunder and shot towards Naruto. Chidori sharp spear. Sasuke, he didn't talk about wood, but he attacked me unexpectedly. After all, Naruto put on the nine-tailed chakra coat and turned into a golden villain. Then Naruto dodged Sasuke's thunder with incredible speed. Sasuke couldn't help frowning as soon as his shot missed. He didn't expect Naruto to be so fast, which surprised him. You must know that Chidori rifle is a thunderbolt, and his speed is not bad even compared to shuriken. Now Naruto dodged it. Sasuke, look at the trick. Naruto jumped into the air, using Kyuubi's chakra to form a big golden fist, and punched Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Naruto's big fist and didn't dodge. He wanted to test to what extent his strength had reached. The fists of the two collided and exploded, and then the flying dust surrounded Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto was lifted by the shock wave from the explosion and fell to the ground. After standing still, Sasuke patted the dust on his butt, grinned at Naruto, and then continued to rush towards Naruto. Nine Tails, come out. Naruto put his hands together in front of his chest, and a phantom of Nine Tails appeared behind him. As soon as the phantom of Nine Tails appeared, it emitted a strong light, illuminating the surrounding dust, making people unable to open their eyes, and then Naruto's body disappeared instantly. Sasuke was shocked when he saw this, and quickly cast the instant body technique, leaving an afterimage on the spot, and chased in the direction where Naruto was escaping, but just after he was halfway through, he found several shadow clones of Naruto suddenly appeared around him. Look at my spiral pill. Several of Naruto's shadow avatars held the spiral pill in their hands and called towards Sasuke. Minato had taught Naruto the spiral pill during this period of time. Surprised, Sasuke quickly cast the Chidori sharp spear, resisting all of Naruto's attacks. Wenwan, I have already practiced. No matter how good you are still no match for me. I advise you to give up, Naruto said to Sasuke, and at the same time, his feet began to move. Ola ola, Naruto quickly turned into streaks of golden light flashing back and forth, constantly attacking Sasuke with chakra fists and spiral pills. Sasuke can only activate Susanoo's skeleton defense. Boom, boom, boom. The two kept fighting. Naruto's spiral pill is extremely powerful. Although Sasuke activated the Susan skeleton, he still seemed in a hurry under the attack of the spiral pill. The opening of this skeleton of him is here. Seeing that Sasuke had a flaw, Naruto immediately seized the opportunity, came to him in a dodge, and then hit Sasuke's stomach with a spiral pill. Puff! Sasuke spat out a mouthful of blood, and he clutched his stomach in pain. Haha, you only have this little strength. It seems that you are no longer my opponent. I advise you to give up. You are my recognized opponent. I still look forward to your future growth. Seeing Sasuke deflated, Naruto laughed with his hands on his hips pretending to be aggressive. Sasuke wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said with a gloomy face, Naruto, I didn't play hard for the sake of getting acquainted with you. I didn't expect you to be so ignorant. The third power, Susanoo. After finishing speaking, Sasuke started the fourth stage of his Susanoo. Naruto was also dumbfounded when he saw the giant purple armor that was tens of meters high outside Sasuke's body. Sasuke's strength has actually increased to this level. But now that he has the power of Nine Tails, how could he lose to Sasuke again? How is it possible? How could it be possible for me to lose to you? Absolutely impossible for me to lose to you. Naruto roared through gritted teeth. Multiple Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto used his ninjutsu multiple shadow clone technique, and separated hundreds of shadow clones. All the shadow clones rolled out spiral pills, and rushed towards Sasuke's armored Susanoo. Bang bang bang. There was a bang. The impact of Naruto's avatar and the armor made a loud noise, and then Naruto's avatar was completely shattered. And the armor was only shaken by the shock, making a clicking sound. Naruto's pupils suddenly shrank when he saw this scene. He didn't expect that his ninjutsu could not damage the armor. The hardness of the armor was beyond his imagination, and there was a powerful chakra on the armor. If he encountered this defense alone, he would definitely be defeated. Sasuke, I have to admit, you are indeed very good. But I, Naruto Uzumaki, will never admit defeat. Baman Dunjia Kai, Exyamen, Duman, Shungman, Human, Jingman, I am going to use the most powerful ninjutsu. Naruto's aura rose suddenly, from 12 years old to 15 years old. Naruto's eyes were full of madness. During this period of time, he also specially trained the 8 doors of armor, and he was able to open the 6th door of Jingman in the state of 9 tails. Look at my peacock spiral pill. Naruto roared and flew into the sky, and then his fists rubbed the flames of the air, and the flames attached to the spiral pill, and a large piece fell towards Sasuke's Susanoo. Helix pill, explode it for me. Naruto yelled, and the spiral pill exploded immediately, turning into balls of fire, and attacked Sasuke's Susanoo. Sasuke's Susanoo also burst out with a burst of chakra to cover him. Boom, 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 boom. A burst of violent explosions came, and Sasuke's Susanoo was almost destroyed by the explosions again and then returned to its original appearance. This Sasuke, his Susanoo defense is really too strong. Naruto thought to himself, I have the chakra of 9 tails and the 6th door Jingman of 8 Dunjia, but I can't break through his shield, what's going on? Sasuke looked at Naruto indifferently, and manipulated Susanoo to shoot a huge chakra bow and arrow at Naruto. 9-tailed spiral pill. Naruto yelled when he saw this, and the spiral pills on his arms suddenly condensed into a huge round spiral pill, and shot towards Sasuke's arrow. Burst. Bang bang bang. 2 strands of terrifying energy bombarded together and exploded. The aftermath of the 2 waves of energy scatters in all directions. Although Sasuke's Susanoo was repelled by the aftermath of the explosion, he was still not injured, but Naruto was not so lucky, and was blown out in the explosion. Naruto's body fell directly to the ground, making a thumping sound. Naruto got up from the ground. Looking at the potholes on the ground, Naruto's eyes flashed with anger. HMPH. Sasuke, I will never lose to you. He folded his hands together, a stream of chakra injected into his palms, and then slowly opened his palms, a stream of blue chakra injected into his palms. The spiral pill version of the tailed beast jade. While muttering, Naruto controlled the tailed beast jade to release a huge blue chakra, and then the huge chakra quickly became thicker, and finally formed a huge blue tornado, sweeping towards Sasuke. Shangwan's tailed beast jade is really powerful. Sasuke thought to himself. He knew that he couldn't take it lightly at this time, he had to avoid this move, otherwise his Susanoo would not be able to withstand the attack of tailed beast jade. Accept it. Naruto kept shouting, while manipulating his tailed beast jade to attack Sasuke's Susanoo. Flame escape. Jiagu's soil life. Sasuke immediately added the fire of Amaterasu to his Susanoo. Amaterasu's fire is one of the most powerful ninjutsu in the fire ninjutsu. It is the pupil technique released by Sasuke's kaleidoscope Sharingan. It can not only burn enemies, but also burn things with material and physical properties. Even Naruto's spiral pill can also be burned. Fire escape magma barrier. Sasuke made mudras with his hands, and a large amount of magma poured into his Susanoo. The magma barrier is Sasuke's flame attack technique. He poured magma into his Susanoo, forming a magma wall that blocked Naruto's spiral pill. Boom, 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 boom. The magma barrier constantly counteracts the terrifying energy generated by the explosion of Naruto's spiral pill. HMPH. Sasuke, do you really think I can't do anything to you? Naruto's eyes flashed with crazy fighting intent, and he once again manipulated his tailed beast jade to attack Sasuke. Seeing Naruto's attack getting more and more fierce, Sasuke became vigilant. He controls his Susanoo to fight with Naruto's tailed beast. The attacks of the two collided continuously, and the sound of explosions came and went. This battle actually lasted for more than 10 minutes. The two were exhausted and out of breath, and neither of them took advantage. Although Sasuke's Susanoo is extremely defensive, his chakra is much less than Sasuke's after all, so he has been at a disadvantage, unable to continuously attack with ninjutsu like Naruto. Sasuke, my spiral pill has consumed a lot of chakra, but this is only temporary. When I knock down your Susanoo, you will die. Naruto looked at Sasuke with a proud face. Sasuke raised his eyebrows when he heard Naruto's words, your spiral pill should consume more than this amount of chakra, right? You've used the spiral pill and the shadow clone technique so many times, even you can't take it anymore, right? Hehe, you guessed it right, I really can't take it anymore, my current energy is almost bottoming out, but what about you, Sasuke, your Susanoo is also consuming a lot of chakra, I believe you don't have much left, right? Naruto smiled sinisterly. When Sasuke heard this, his face darkened slightly. Indeed, Naruto already has a large amount of chakra from the Uzumaki clan plus chakra from the Nine Tails in his body, which is not comparable to his chakra. He has driven the Susanoo for more than 10 minutes, and his pupil power and chakra are almost exhausted. Sasuke, I don't think your ability is very strong now. If you are willing to surrender, I can spare your life, otherwise you will be defeated by me. HMPH. Sasuke snorted coldly, his eyes flickering coldly. Naruto, don't be rampant, after I finish you off, you just wait to die. Okay, I'll wait for you. Naruto sneered. Boom. Sasuke formed a seal with his hands, and instantly burst out a group of powerful chakras, enveloping himself in it, and then his Susanoo opened his arms abruptly, and instantly launched a huge hook ball. 8-footed jade ball. Sasuke's Susanoo fired a large number of purple balls at Naruto. Sasuke's Susanoo was so fast that Naruto didn't have any time to dodge. Boom, boom, boom. Numerous Gugamas hit his chest and sent him flying, but Sasuke didn't give up the attack at all. He rushed towards Naruto swiftly, swung Susanoo's right fist and slammed Naruto's head fiercely. Large jade spiral pill. Seeing the momentum, Naruto also waved his left arm, a tyrannical chakra burst out from his left arm, and then let his shadow clone quickly rub out a huge spiral pill. Two huge energies collided together. Sasuke was knocked back by the powerful counter-shock force, while Naruto was knocked out and fell heavily on the grass in the distance. Naruto's right arm was also shattered, blood dripping. Naruto grinned in pain, but until he had the Nine Tails chakra, his recovery ability was amazing. He stood up quickly and restored his injured right arm to its original shape. Sasuke couldn't help showing shock when he saw that Naruto was not injured. But he didn't stop attacking, because the battle just now was still fierce. But it was nothing to him, he was still moving quickly, attacking Naruto. The arrow of Amaterasu. Sasuke attached the fire black flame of Amaterasu of the kaleidoscope Sharingan to his bow and arrow of Susanoo and shot it towards Naruto. Amaterasu can burn all objects, and if Naruto touches it, he will undoubtedly die. Boom. Seeing this, Naruto hurriedly used chakra to protect his body. The high temperature of the Amaterasu fire made Naruto take a few steps back. Seeing Naruto being burned, Sasuke had a cruel smile on his face. He shot several more arrows one after another. Whoosh whoosh. Dozens of Amaterasu arrows shot at Naruto, and Sasuke's kaleidoscope Sharingan also began to shed blood continuously. Obviously, Sasuke's pupil power and chakra were almost exhausted, and it was already at the end of its strength. Nine-tailed spiral pill. Naruto gritted his teeth and mobilized all the Nine Tails chakra in his body. The tyranny of Nine Tails chakra is beyond doubt, and the attack of his spiral pill is also very powerful. Call out. The nine-tailed spiral pill spun quickly, and finally turned into a huge red spiral pill. Naruto used it to resist the arrow of Amaterasu that was shot at him. Boom bang 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 bang. The nine-tailed spiral pill and Amaterasu's arrow collided with each other, making loud noises continuously, and finally they both died. Ha 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 ha. Naruto looked at Sasuke's weakness, and laughed arrogantly. Sasuke, your Susanoo almost doesn't have much chakra anymore. And Sasuke's kaleidoscope writing sharing eyes turned, facing the Tsukiyomi magic technique used by Naruto. It's useless, I'm Jinchuriki, and Genjutsu doesn't work for me. Naruto said indifferently. Sasuke's body is about to reach its limit now. If he doesn't leave, his body will really not be able to bear it. Sasuke's Tsukiyomi illusion only trapped Naruto for a moment, but this moment was enough for Sasuke. In that case, then I'll kill you. Sasuke snorted coldly, Bachi-chan Guyu. As soon as Naruto escaped from the illusion, he saw Sasuke Susanoo's 8-foot Changuyu shooting towards him. He couldn't help but turn pale with fright, and hurriedly used Earth Escape to avoid it. But Sasuke's 8-foot Changuyu still shot at his body, penetrated his body instantly, and then pierced through his body again, nailing him to the ground. Ha 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 ha. Sasuke laughed wildly. Naruto, you still lost after all. Sasuke was also extremely weak at this time, and he lifted Susanoo, lying on the ground panting heavily. Naruto vomited blood from the beating, but he still struggled to stand up, and then walked towards Sasuke. His eyes were full of anger. Sasuke, how could you do this? Do you know that if the move just now was stronger, I would be dead? Your strength is not enough. Sasuke snorted coldly, and then walked towards Naruto. This is the rule of the ninja world. Weak people are not worthy of living in the ninja world. You. Naruto was trembling with anger, and then roared, Sasuke, I will never admit defeat, I will kill you. After speaking, Naruto endured the serious injury, and rolled out a spiral pill in his hand to hit Sasuke. And Sasuke also roared, and used Chidori in his hand, and the thunder and lightning clung to his arm and hit Naruto. The energies of the two were intertwined in the air, creating a strong storm, and the surrounding trees were blown down one after another, while Naruto and Sasuke were thrown out. The energy of Sasuke and Naruto collided, resulting in a violent explosion, and the two were pushed away by the powerful air wave. After Sasuke was thrown out, he landed on the ground, and then rolled far away on the ground, while Naruto fell directly into the lake water, splashing a burst of water. Plop! What? A huge bubble popped out, and Naruto floated to the surface in embarrassment, and then took a big mouthful of fresh air, with a resentful expression on his face. Naruto, let me let you go this time. Next time we meet, I will take your life. Sasuke couldn't hold it anymore, and left quickly after uttering a harsh word. Naruto looked at the back of Sasuke running away, and his anger couldn't be calmed down, but he also knew that he couldn't catch up with Sasuke now, so he could only bear it. Naruto stood up and saw the mud stained on his clothes. He frowned, then tore off the clothes and threw them away. Looking at the surrounding environment, Naruto knew that he should quickly find a hidden place to heal his injuries. Thinking of this, Naruto prepared to go deep in the forest to find a quiet valley. On the other hand, these ninjas of Konoha were basically defeated by Obito, Orochimaru, Uchiha Itachi and the others. At this time, Kakashi Yamato and the others were all scarred, and they had no strength to resist. Obito arranged to imprison the elite Jonin of Konoha village first, and let the other ninja Jonin be left alone. Minister Minato, Hiruzuru Sarutobi, the third Hokage of Konoha village, is dead now. Why don't you take the position of Hokage temporarily? Originally, Konoha Maru was the candidate for the first Hokage Senju Hashimama and the second Hokage Senju Banma, but Konoha Maru doesn't have much experience yet, so let him study by your side for a while before taking over as Hokage. Obito looked at Minato and said, Huh, okay, I see. Hearing Obito's words, Minato was a little surprised. Obito actually let him take up the position of Hokage temporarily. It seems that Obito really attaches great importance to him. But since Obito said so, then he has no reason to refuse. In the next few days, the villagers of Konoha knew that the former hero of the village, the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, had resurrected and took up the role of Hokage again. In the past few days, Muya village is also undergoing changes. First, the middle-level leaders of Konoha began to clean up those Chunin and lower ninjas in the village who did not obey discipline, and then carried out some rectification among the Chunin. And these Chunin and Genin are the elite of Konoha ninjas. Their qualifications and abilities are not bad, so this time Konoha's rectification is also very strict, which made them suffer a lot. In the past few days, the ninjas have been secretly spreading the word that Namikaze Minato has been resurrected and has also assumed the position of Hokage. Minato-sensei, please take a look at these materials. Kakashi had already been released by Obito, and became an assistant beside Minato Namikaze. Kakashi originally resisted Obito, but seeing that Obito did not destroy Konoha village, he just cleaned up the factions of the previous 3 generations of Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi and Shimura Danzo and began to develop Konoha village, and he began to accept Obito's Akatsuki organization in his heart. Namikaze Minato took the information and read it carefully, then nodded. His eyes narrowed slightly, and Minato could already feel that the ninjas had begun to change, and they were no longer the former scattered pattern. It seems that I need to make some arrangements, Minato muttered to himself. Time is fleeting. It's August in a blink of an eye, and it's already summer in Konoha, and it's almost autumn. Autumn has come quietly, the weather is getting cooler, many leaves are falling, and the leaves on the branches are beginning to wither. And Konoha has developed steadily in the past few months, and Obito has also helped Namikaze Minato regain the support of the Hyuga family and several big families. The living standards of the villagers have improved a lot. Sensho Hashirama and Sensho Fama felt relieved after seeing them behind their backs, and began to identify with Obito and Akatsuki. In the past few months, Naruto has not been idle. Under the arrangement of Obito, he also learned ninjutsu in Konoha for a period of time. Although it was only half a year, his strength has also been greatly improved. Naruto has also grown a lot in the past 6 months, and now his strength has reached the quasi-cage level. Konohamaru also learned a lot of experience in governing from Minato, not only improved his strength, but also learned a lot of ninjutsu and skills. Naruto-kun, are you learning ninjutsu recently? In a secluded room, Hinata sat at the table, looked at Naruto dressed in black ninja, asked with some doubts on her face, with a reddish face. Well, Hinata, I've become very powerful now, and I will become Hokage in the future. Naruto smiled at Hinata. Hinata blushed and lowered her head, but her heart was extremely sweet. Mr. Naruto, your strength has improved a lot. It seems that you have realized something. Your talent is very strong. Hinata looked at the confident Naruto and said that although Naruto was only about 12 years old, he was much more mature than children of the same age. Hehe, I'm very talented, Hinata, how about marrying you as my wife when I grow up? Naruto laughed. Puff. Hearing Naruto's words, Hinata spouted out a mouthful of tea, and quickly wiped the tea stains from the corner of her mouth. Naruto-kun, don't mess around, what are you talking about? I'm still a little girl. Hinata's face was flushed, and she was about to faint from embarrassment. Although she had a crush on Naruto, she was only 12 years old now. How could she talk about marriage so early? Naruto chuckled and said, Sakura is also pretty, and I want to marry Sakura as my wife. Hinata narrowed her eyes, shamefully said, how can you be such a scumbag, you still want to provoke her when you have me? Naruto felt helpless for a while, he didn't think much about how such a thing could be compared. He continued, I know, you like me too, don't worry, I won't let other girls bully you. Who likes you? Hinata retorted stammeringly. Haha, no need to explain, Hinata, your face is blushing, I know it. Seeing Hinata's shy look, Naruto burst out laughing. Okay, Naruto-kun, I won't tell you anymore, I'm going to discuss the next thing with Papa Minato. Naruto glanced at Hinata, then stood up and walked outside. Oh, looking at Naruto who left, Hinata's eyes were somewhat resentful, not knowing what he was thinking. What an idiot. Looking at the back of Naruto going away, Hinata whispered softly, but she was still very sweet in her heart, after all, the person she likes is Naruto. Time flies, and soon it will be autumn. Obito has continuously stopped Kakashi and the others for verbal harassment and torture in the past few months, and has already obtained about 30 emotional points. Today, Obito came to the Shinwei space again. In the Shinwei space, the pigman has become a dead house pig, eating, drinking and having fun every day. In addition to sleeping, I just eat and sleep, and if I have nothing to do, I still sleep. It's so boring. Pigman, I'm looking for you again. Obito smiled and looked at Pigman lying on the bed. What are you doing here again? I'm not Pigman now. I haven't fought much in the past few months. I'm an otaku trash GGB now. Piggy turned over. Obito looked at the rotten Pigman, the corner of his mouth twitched, kicked Pigman angrily, and said, hurry up, you have made a mess in my Shinwei space, and you don't know how to clean it up. I'll turn you into a roast suckling pig when it's so messed up. Roast suckling pig, are you really willing? Pigman got up from the bed. What are you afraid of? As long as you promise to clean it up every day in the future, it will make you feel as comfortable as a fairy and give you more learning resources. Well, I'm idle anyway, so let's help clean it up. Pigman got up and went outside to clean up. System, give me 10 consecutive draws. 30 consecutive draws begin. Congratulations to the host for getting 100 bowls of ramen. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 100 caddies of barbecue. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 chicken legs. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 chicken wings. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 20 beef skewers. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 20 hams. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 chicken wings. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 8 lamb chops. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 8 sausages. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2 sauced pork knuckles. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the guaranteed reward, Xingtian Armor Summoner. Why did you make so many things for me? Are these things enough for me to eat for a long time? Obito asked in surprise. Host, these things are just ordinary items produced by the system. The food produced by the system not only tastes particularly good, but can also increase chakra and system. The second 10 consecutive draws begin. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 100 gold coins. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 500 million credits. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 100 elemental stones. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 elemental fruits. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 magic crystal nuclei. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 30 bottles of golden sore medicine. System, what a mess these things are. Obito said with black lines all over his face. Congratulations to the host for winning the guaranteed reward, Pain Tian Dao Chao. It's Tian Dao Chao. Obito turned pale with fright. The system actually pulled Tian Dao Chao out for him. This is Brother Chao, the most underworld ninja in the Naruto mobile game, bar none. The 3-stage capture blood pressure is full, plus the invincible great god Luo Tianzhong, the proper ninja in the underworld. The third 10 consecutive draws begin. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a set of Lolita skirts. Congratulations to the host for getting a pair of Lolita boots. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a Lolita brooch. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a Lolita ring. Congratulations to the host for getting a pair of Lolita headbands. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a Lolita necklace. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 pairs of letter lace stockings. Congratulations to the host for getting a pair of Lolita earrings. You took all these things out for me, right? Obito looked at the system helplessly. Yes, host. System, what the hell do you want to do? Give me a bunch of women's clothing. Obito said. Congratulations to the host for winning the guaranteed reward, Nohara Lin, Vitality Summer. Ah, this. Obito felt embarrassed now. He finally understood why the system gave him a bunch of Lolita women's clothes. The feeling was for him to wear them for Lin, right? The system rewards have been issued. There are a lot of things in Obito's system space. And the 2 ninjas drawn by the system also started to move. A burst of smoke cleared, a majestic BGM sounded, and Tian Dao Chao landed from the sky. 1 bag of rice has to be carried on the 2nd floor. The way of heaven overwhelmed Grammon. 1 bag of rice has to carry several floors. Tian Dao Chao continued to force Grammon. A bag of rice wants that Silan. Tian Dao Chao continued to force Grammon. Tian Dao Chao's voice resounded throughout the Shinwei space. Obito was overwhelmed by the voice, and hurriedly said, Brother Chao, stop reading, I know your pain. Tian Dao was stunned for a moment, and then respectfully saluted Obito. After that, Rin Nohara's appearance seemed very ordinary. A beautiful girl in a swimsuit and holding a water gun appeared in front of Obito. Obito can clearly feel that his body is hot and dry. After all, the original owner loves Lin the most. Seeing Lin in a swimsuit at this time, Obito can't help but feel dry mouth. Although Yi Yu Online is a young girl, her figure has begun to take shape, with bright eyes and white teeth, fair skin, a pair of curved phoenix eyes, a small cherry mouth under the bridge of the nose, and a graceful figure. The swimsuit she wore fully outlined the girl's curves. Ah, why are you dressed like this? It doesn't suit you, right? Nohara Lin opened her eyes and said, blushing when she saw herself dressed like this. Did you bring me back to life? Master. Nohara Rin said to Obito respectfully. The master called Obito so loud that he couldn't help himself, so Obito quickly took off his mask and said, "Lin, it's me." "Ah, you are Obito." Nohara Lin's beautiful eyes widened. She didn't expect Obito to grow up so big now, and she didn't know how he resurrected herself. Obito nodded. He looked at Nohara Lin, saw that Nohara Lin was wearing a swimsuit, and suddenly felt his mouth was so dry, he quickly looked away. "Obito, why did you run into this space? How did you bring me back to life?" Lin asked with her head tilted. Obito didn't know where to start for a while, so he could only say, "Well, I used some forbidden techniques to bring you back to life. Now Minato-sensei and Kakashi are here, don't you want to go and see them?" "Of course I want to go, but, Rin Nohara hesitated. She knew that Obito would never lie to her. Since Obito didn't say anything, it must be true, but she was worried that Kakashi would have a grudge against killing her with his own hands. Nohara Rin stepped forward, gently stroked Obito's cheek, and said softly, "Obito, I know, you must have put in a lot of hard work and suffered a lot in order to resurrect me. I owe you this." With a wry smile, said, "It doesn't matter, as long as you are okay, everything will be fine." "Thank you. Do we still need to talk like this between us?" Nohara Lin laughed and said, "I'll clean up here first, and when you clean up, come and find me." Obito suddenly said to Nohara Lin, who turned around, "By the way, Lin." Nohara Lin turned her head and asked suspiciously, "What's the matter, Obito?" I have always liked you," Obito stammered with a red face. Hearing Obito's words, Nohara Rin's pretty face turned pink, and her heart jumped wildly. She didn't expect Obito to express her love to her like this. She had always admired Kakashi before, and knew that Obito liked her. "Obito, thank you for liking me." "You're welcome." Nohara Lin smiled sweetly. At this moment, she was extremely happy in her heart, and she felt that the whole world was much brighter. Nohara Lin went back to her room to tidy up, and changed into a blue camisole, paired it with a pair of denim shorts, and a pair of white sandals. Obito saw Lin's cool attire after she came out, and couldn't help turning his head away, too shy to look at Lin. Seeing Obito's appearance, Lin couldn't help covering her small mouth with her jade hand and laughing lightly. "Ahem, Lin, why are you smiling so happily?" Obito said awkwardly. "I just like to see Obito like this." Nohara Lin twisted her waist step by step and walked in front of Obito. Obito suddenly felt a flower in front of his eyes, and a faint fragrance rushed to his face. Nohara Rin leaned directly on Obito's shoulder. This posture was extremely ambiguous. Forehead. Obito couldn't help but feel hot all over. He didn't expect Lin to come to his shoulder suddenly, he even suspected that this was a dream. "Obito, do you know? In my memory, you are the first boy who made my heart move. I know you always thought I liked Kakashi, but in fact I just admired him. For me, you are the one I love," Nohara Rin said affectionately. Obito was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and said, "I love you too. Obito, it would be great if we could do this forever." Nohara Rin gently kissed Obito's cheek, and Obito trembled. Obito's heart beat violently. "Obito, shall we go out now?" Nohara Lin raised her head and asked. "Well, it's almost there, Lin, let me take you out." Obito nodded, and led Lin out of the Kamui space. Obito brought Nohara Lin and Tien Daochao to Muya village. "Brother Chao, go to the Akatsuki organization to find Nagato first, he will be very surprised when he sees you." Tendo Chao nodded. After all, he was originally Tendo, a puppet made of Yahiko's corpse, and now he has self-awareness, and is much stronger than Tendo. Nagato will indeed be surprised. "Lin, the Hokage building is in front of you, and Kakashi and Minato-sensei are inside." After Tien Daochao left, Obito took Nohara Rin to the Hokage office building. "Yeah." Nohara Rin sweetly held Obito's arm, bouncing and following Obito. "Minato-sensei, are you there?" In Hokage's office, Minato and Kakashi were processing Konoha's official documents. After hearing Obito's voice, Minato said, "It's Obito, what's the matter?" Then Minato looked up and saw Obito leading Lin into the room. You are Lin," Kakashi said incredulously, his pupils shrinking. "Long time no see, Kakashi." Lin smiled at Kakashi. Kakashi immediately shed tears when he saw this. For so many years, killing Lin himself has always been a knot in his heart. Today he saw the resurrected Lin, and finally couldn't help crying. Okay, Lin, it's good that you're resurrected. Minato also said with a smile. Obito, it's really you who actually brought Lin back to life. Lin smiled sweetly at Minato, and held Obito's arm affectionately, and Obito also looked at Lin with a gentle face. Okay, Kakashi, Lin is back now, don't think about those things anymore, and you, Obito, you have to take care of Lin. Minato said with a smile. Haha, yes, Kakashi looked at Lin with joy in his eyes. His teacher and companions were back, and he was very excited. I know, Minato-sensei, don't worry, I'll take good care of her. Obito said with a smile, looking at Lin with pampering eyes. Okay, let's talk, I'll go out first. After Minato finished speaking, he turned and left the office. Obito stopped Minato, and said seriously, Minato-sensei, I will definitely resurrect Mrs. Kushina in the future. Minato was stunned for a moment, then just smiled in relief, and said, it's fine if you have the heart. Lin tilted her head and looked at Obito suspiciously, and asked, what happened to Mrs. Kushina? Is she dead too? Obito lowered his head guiltily, and said, yes, it can be said that she was killed by me. Minato said, forget about Obito, the past is all over. Lin widened her beautiful eyes in disbelief, looked at Obito, and said, how could Mrs. Kushina be killed by you? What did you do? This. Obito tells what happened after he was crushed by a boulder at the Canopy Bridge. I see. Suddenly, Lin interrupted Obito, and said calmly, did you see that I was killed by Kakashi at that time, so you blamed Minato-sensei for not protecting me well, so you felt resentful towards him and Mrs. Kushina. Lin, I'm not. Obito wanted to defend himself, but Lin shouted angrily, Obito, I really misunderstood you. What does my death have to do with Minato-sensei? How could you do this? Aren't you deceiving the master and destroying the ancestors? Obito lowered his head. Minato quickly said, okay, Obito didn't mean that, it's all over. Kakashi also said, Lin, it's my fault. I didn't protect Obito well, and I didn't protect you well. Even the teacher and his wife didn't protect well. Lin looked at Obito and sneered, HMPH, I will never forgive you, I will never forgive you. My death has nothing to do with Sensei and Kakashi. You force your grievances on them, and I will never forgive you. Lin, no matter what, I will protect you. Obito raised his head and looked into Lin's eyes and said firmly. Oh, I'm really depressed. Lin and Obito broke up, and Obito could only leave the Hokage office building depressed. Lin kept getting angry with the little girl, and neither Kakashi nor Minato could persuade her to come back. One moment they were sweet lovers, and the next moment they were enemies. Obito was also very depressed and angry in his heart. This is from the original master. What does it have to do with him as a time traveler? Forget it, let's go to the Akatsuki organization to find Xiaonan. Obito didn't want to be bullied for no reason, he might as well go to the Akatsuki organization to see the beautiful and pretty Xiaonan. Xiao organization. In the Economic and Trade Conference Room, Xiaonan was processing the economic and trade documents of this month's Yurin village. In the past few months, Obito came to chat with him when he had nothing to do. Now she no longer feels alienated from Obito. Although she is still cold on the surface, she already has a good impression of Obito in her heart. Xiaonan stretched her waist, she could see the curves of her delicate body at a glance, and then changed into a set of casual clothes. She was wearing a wide-sleeved satin blouse with Japanese green embroidering, and a blue-gray needle skirt. The lower garment swayed slightly and turned out to be a pleated skirt. There were pearl pendants on her ears, and silver headbands dotted her temples. On her fair-skinned hands, she wore gold thread nail buckles, and a pair of black high-heeled shoes. Obito gave her these outfits, and she liked them very much. Xiaonan, I'm here. Obito came to Xiaonan's office from the Kamui space, saw Xiaonan dressed in this beautiful appearance. The mood was agitated again. Xiaonan's pretty face flushed, and she rolled her eyes at him reproachfully. Xiaonan had a flushed almond face, crystal phoenix eyes under her brows, and silvery white hair. She has a slender figure, a graceful figure, a melon seed-shaped face, and her skin is as thick as fat, which can be broken by blowing bombs. Her skin is white, translucent, delicate and moist, and her big watery eyes seemed to be able to talk. Although Xiaonan is in her 30s, she is indeed well maintained. Did you come to see me for something? Xiaonan felt a little shy from being stared at by Obito. Ahem, I came to you for something. Obito coughed and said, I heard that many people have come to Akatsuki organization recently. I came to you to ask if there are any more powerful ninjas. Oh, one is the Tiandao Chao you found. Nagato and I were shocked. How did you find a person who is exactly the same as Tiandao, and he is so powerful? Xiaonan admired. As for other things, there is still a peach land that will not be cut again. Don't cut it again, that's true. Obito rubbed his chin. Now that he is not dead, it is not impossible for him to bring Shiro to join the Akatsuki organization. I see you are not very happy today, what happened? Xiaonan asked. Ah, don't mention it, it's like this. Obito then talked about the things about Lin and him when they were young and the things that just broke up. Then what kind of temper is she playing? After all, even if you killed your teacher and teacher's wife, it was because of her. She has no right to blame you for anything. Xiaonan comforted, and for some reason, seeing Obito break up with his first love Nohara Rin, there was a hint of joy in his heart. Hey, would you believe me if I said that I didn't want to kill Minato and Kushina at all? Obito smiled wryly. Forget it. Obito shook his head, looked at Xiaonan and said, Xiaonan, after all, Lin and I haven't seen each other for many years, and my feelings for her have faded, and now I like you. Ah, you scumbag, why did you say such a thing suddenly? Xiao Nanchao blushed and said coquettishly. Ha ha ha, just kidding, I just don't want you to misunderstand our relationship, I just simply like you, how about we date? Xiao Nan didn't speak, but just lowered her head, her face was flushed, and she was also struggling in her heart. Let me think about it again, you go out and do your business first. All right, seeing Xiaonan's appearance, Obito knew that Xiaonan did not reject him, so he left happily. In the afternoon, Obito, what do you think of my suit? Xiaonan put on a pair of light yellow jumpsuits, revealing two straight, slender, white and tender legs, and a pair of high-heeled sandals of the same color on her feet. She looked pure, lively and charming. Very beautiful. Obito glanced at it, and sincerely admired it. This dress is very suitable for Xiaonan, and it also matches her temperament. Xiaonan was very resistant in the morning, but in the afternoon he felt upright and directly confirmed the relationship with Obito. Obito was in a good mood, and kept laughing. What are you laughing at? Xiaonan asked, looking at Obito's smirking face. Nothing, nothing. Why are you smiling so treacherously? Tell me quickly, what are you laughing at? I didn't laugh at anything, Xiaonan. I'll tell you if you get closer. Obito said. Conan put his face in front of Obito suspiciously. Obito watched her face slowly approaching, with a wider smile on her face, and a masculine breath emanating from Obito's body. Xiaonan's eyes opened, her heart was beating fast, and her breathing became rapid. She looked at Obito who was close at hand, her heart was beating wildly. Obito's face was getting closer and closer, and eventually their noses collided. Xiaonan felt her heart beating faster, and her head was in chaos. Her heart was beating wildly, and she didn't dare to think or move, because she was afraid that if she moved, Obito would be pushed away. Obito also became nervous. He didn't dare to move, because he was afraid of scaring Xiaonan away. If he scared Xiaonan away, then he would have no chance to sing. Conan felt that Obito's breathing gradually became heavy, his heart beat faster, and his cheeks were as red as drunk. Obito and Conan just looked at each other, and an ambiguous atmosphere spread. Xiaonan, you are so beautiful. Ah, you, Xiaonan felt Obito's warm breath, her face flushed, she was at a loss, and she also liked Obito's enthusiasm. She didn't know what to say, she just felt her heart beating faster and faster. At this moment, Xiaonan felt that Obito's lips had been imprinted on his own. Xiaonan's beautiful eyes widened, her heart beating wildly. Obito and Xiaonan kissed, and Xiaonan also took the initiative to hug Obito. The two kissed each other passionately, forgetting everything. Like two greedy snakes, they are constantly exploring and searching for each other. Obito's hands subconsciously caressed Xiaonan's soft body. Xiaonan's heart was also beating violently. Her body was trembling slightly, and her heart was beating violently. Obito's hand also began to walk on Xiaonan's body, stroking. Obito's hand kept wandering on Xiaonan's body, stroking inch by inch. Obito's hand wandered on Xiaonan's body. Well, okay. The two groaned at the same time. Xiaonan's body trembled slightly. Obito's hand also stopped. He felt a little numb in his hand, maybe he was too excited and exerted too much force just now. Xiaonan, I'm sorry. Xiaonan also felt that her chest was rising and falling too violently. She lowered her head, her little face was flushed. She didn't know if it was because of the passionate kiss just now or because of shyness. She didn't look at Obito. I don't mean to blame you, it's me. Obito's hand was placed on Xiaonan's shoulder again, and Obito's hand kept rubbing Xiaonan's shoulder. Obito's hands are getting heavier and stronger. Xiaonan, I really fall in love with you. I want to marry you as my wife. Will you marry me? Xiaonan's body trembled again, but she did not avoid it. She also likes to be with Obito very much. She feels very happy to be with Obito. This is her dream, so she really wants to agree to Obito, but she is a little bit embarrassed and doesn't know how to speak. I am willing. Finally, Xiaonan summoned up his courage and said, Great, you're finally willing to promise me. Obito was ecstatic, took Xiaonan into his arms, and kissed him fiercely. At this time, two black shadows came up from the other side of the stairs, and both of them cast their eyes on Xiaonan and Obito. What? Xiaonan exclaimed. What? Both were taken aback. What's wrong with you? Obito looked at Xiaonan suspiciously and asked. Xiaonan raised his head, his face was flushed, and he lowered his head shyly. Obito followed Xiaonan's gaze and found two people standing beside them. When Obito saw who the two were, his face froze immediately, and he said awkwardly, Xiaonan and I are talking about something. It was Brother Chao and Nagato who came in. Now that Nagato has been transplanted with interstitial cells, his body has almost recovered, and now he does not need to appear in front of everyone in the Akatsuki organization in the way of Tiandao pain. Tiandao Chao's expression was indifferent, and he didn't care much about these things, while Nagato looked a little embarrassed, coughed twice, and said, It's okay, you guys continue. Xiaonan Chao pushed Obito away with a blushing face, stood aside and turned her head away without speaking. Obito touched his nose, walked up to Nagato and Tendo Chao, and said, Let's go out and talk. Arriving outside Urinen village, Nagato said to Obito, Last time, Orochimaru's Konoha collapse plan, didn't you say that there was Shokuriki? I sent Deidara over there to capture Crane Ricky back. Unexpectedly, Shokuriki went berserk at that time, and Shokuriki came out of Jinchuriki's body, so Deidara, a waste who hadn't done Shokuriki, ran back injured. Obito covered his forehead speechlessly, and said, And then? Nagato said angrily. At that time, there were ninjas from Hidden Sand Village who were secretly following Deidara, and they had already discovered that Deidara came from the Akatsuki organization of Urinen Village. Now Hidden Sand Village is going to fight our Urinen Village, and Onoki from Hidden Rock Village knows that Deidara has come to our Akatsuki organization, and he will also fight us. This is really. Obito sighed secretly. He originally wanted to develop in a low-key way, but he didn't expect Deidara to cause such a big trouble. Nagato asked, Then what are you going to do? Obito thought for a while, and said, Steady first, wait until the Ono Wooden Man comes, and Cheyenne Village will also start negotiating, and then I will make a secret move to get rid of the Crane Guardian Chiriki. Nagato nodded and said nothing more. Obito looked at Nagato and asked, By the way, how is the situation in the Land of Rain? It's still the same. Nagato shook his head helplessly. Sand Hidden Village and Yan Hidden Village have united, and now they have cut off most of the trade cooperation with the Land of Rain. Now the entire economy and trade of the Land of Rain are being attacked by the two villages. Now, Urinen Village is discussing how to deal with food and industrial raw materials. Obito was silent for a moment, and asked, How are you going to deal with Hidden Sand Village? Nagato pondered for a while, and said, I plan to avoid the edge for the time being. Now the strength of Sand Hidden Village and Yan Hidden Village is not weak. Although our Urinen Village is relatively strong, we dare not act rashly. We will wait for the storm to subside for a while before making plans. Nagato's meaning is very simple. They don't need to go head-to-head with Sand Hidden Village yet. What they need now is to stabilize Urinen Village and wait for the opportunity. Well, that's the best option, too. The two chatted for a few words, and Nagato left, while Obito was sitting there thinking about how to deal with the matter of Sand Hidden Village and Rock Hidden Village. This matter was not a bad thing for them. They could take this opportunity to completely annex Sand Hidden Village and Rock Hidden Village or blackmail them, and then their Urinen Village would get huge benefits. Obito thought for a while, then went back to find Xiaonan. Seeing that Obito came back, Xiaonan walked up and asked with concern, "What did Nagato say to you?" Obito shook his head, and said, "It's the trouble caused by Deidara. Now the relationship between Yenian Village and Sandian Village is not very good with us." Conan sighed and nodded. "Forget it, leave him alone, let's continue." Obito held Xiaonan's pretty face and said. Xiaonan's face was slightly drunk, but he didn't refuse. She is very happy to get close to Obito now. Obito kissed Xiaonan's lips, and the two kissed passionately in the garden of Yurin Village. The two kissed for a long time before stopping. Xiaonan leaned into Obito's arms with a reddish face, and asked, "Now Sand Hidden Village and Yan Hidden Village are joining forces to annex the economic lifeline of our land of rain, what do you think we should do?" "We can spend time with them." Obito smiled and said, "If they want to attack Yurin Village now, they must have enough funds to support them, and our Urinen Village now has a large number of powerful ninjas above the shadow level, which is enough to fight them." Xiaonan asked suspiciously, "You mean those people you brought, are they so powerful?" "Of course, they are all high-level ninjas I trained, and their strength can definitely kill the ninjas in Sand Hidden Village and Rock Hidden Village." Xiaonan's eyes widened in surprise. She really didn't expect the people trained by Obito to be so powerful, but she thought of what Nagato said just now, and Nagato's helpless telling him that he couldn't beat Tiandaochao and Tyrannosaurus. Xiaonan also believed it a little bit. Obito comforted Xiaonan again. "Don't worry, we are not short of money now, and we still have a lot of good things. As long as we can ensure that these things are not robbed by others, then our strength will definitely become stronger and stronger. When we are stronger, it will not be too late to deal with them." "Well, I see." In Yenian Village, Onoki took the black soil and Lois to go to Yurin Village to find Deidara. Ever since he knew that Deidara had gone to a dangerous MLM organization like the Akatsuki organization, Onoki was blowing his beard and staring angrily every day. This kid Deidara doesn't want to play clay, but his beautiful granddaughter Haidu doesn't want to play, so he insists on going to the Shao organization to play with clay. The last time he ran back to blow up his old master, he was ashamed, and then ran back again. I really don't know what is in his head. Onoki expressed 100,000 contempt for the fool Deidara's behavior, but he couldn't stop Deidara. "Now I just hope that I will not encounter any troubles when I go out this time. Otherwise, it will still be a problem for the next Dokage of Yenian Village." Now Kuroto and the younger generation of ninjas have not yet grown up. What made him even more terrified was that Cheyenne Village came to him some time ago and said that the purpose of the Shao organization was to catch tailed beasts. Is that okay? The tailed beast is the secret weapon of every ninja village. If Renjuli is taken away, Ninja Village is equivalent to losing a powerful weapon. What made him even more angina was that Hidden Sand Village also said that Deidara was going to arrest Gaara in the Konoha ninja exam. Onogi knew who Gaara was, let alone that he was Izuo Jinchuriki, because he was the son of the former Casecage Rasa. Hidden Sand Village valued him very much. A few days ago, people from Cheyenne Village came to find him and scolded him, and asked him how he taught Deidara to be such a fool apprentice. Onoki had no choice but to tell the people in Cheyenne Village what happened. After listening to Onoki's description, the people in Sand Hidden Village fell silent. I didn't expect Deidara to be so weird, and he joined the Akatsuki organization just for clay art. It's a good thing they didn't know that Chie also joined the Akatsuki organization, otherwise Chio would also be so angry that he vomited blood. In short, after Onoki explained something in Yenian Village, he took his son Wangtu and granddaughter Haidu to the Shao organization of Yurin Village to find Deidara. The Lois is not weak and can be used as a combat force, and the black soil is also strong, and after all, he and Deidara are childhood sweethearts. Maybe that kid will change his mind. The three of Onoki came to the outskirts of Yurin Village. Onoki frowned and said, "Wait a minute, I'll go and explain our purpose to Yurin Village first." Both Black Earth and Yellow Earth nodded. After Onoki passed by, his body floated in the air. Earth Dun fist of the earth hit out. There was a rumbling sound on the ground, and a piece of earth and rock broke through the clouds and fell quickly. In an instant, it reached the gate of Urinen village. Onoki stopped and said to the gatekeeper ninja guarding Urinen village, "I am Dokage of Yenian village, Onogi. I want to visit Urinen village and let your leader come to see me." Seeing this, the corners of Black Earth and Yellow Earth's mouths twitched. "Good guy, is this how you visit with feelings?" The gatekeeper of Urinen village was also taken aback, and said to the people around him, "Hurry up and go to Master Angel or Master Pain from Akatsuki's organization, saying that Tukage of Yenian village has come to attack our Urinen village. Quote, there's no need to look for it, I'll meet this old guy." A majestic male voice sounded, and everyone looked up. Tian Daochao slowly fell from the sky. Tian Daochao was going back to find Nagato, but he happened to see this scene when he passed by the gate of Urin village. You are Lord Pain." The guard was dumbfounded. He had seen the image of Pain before. The one in front of him was the same as Pain except for some torn clothes. "It's God." Everyone looked at Tian Daochao with fiery eyes. Tian Daochao ignored their gazes, flew directly outside Urin village, looked at Onoki, and confronted him without giving in. "It's you, Onoki, you old man, you dare to come to Urin village to play wild." Tian Daochao's angry voice sounded. Onoki was also secretly surprised when he saw Tian Daochao falling directly from the sky. Although he was not afraid of Tian Daochao, he didn't dare to act recklessly. "Who are you? Are you the leader of this Shao organization?" Onogi asked. "I Wow Pain, Kamita. I am Pain, God." Hearing what Tian Daochao said, Onogi laughed angrily, and said, "How arrogant, how dare you call yourself a god? This old man will teach you a lesson today." Tian Dao gave a cold snort, and said, "If that's the case, then let me meet you." Onoki was furious when he saw that Tian Daochao didn't take himself seriously. With a wave of both hands, Earth Dragon impacted, and two giant Earth Dragons emerged out of thin air. "Daime!" Onogi gave a low shout, and the two Earth Dragons opened their teeth and claws and rushed towards Tian Daochao. Shenluo Tianzhong. Tian Daochao waved his hand casually, and a repulsive force was generated out of thin air from Tian Daochao, directly blocking the Earth Dragon. Bang bang bang. The Earth Dragon exploded in midair, a large amount of mud and gravel splashed everywhere, and the whole land was in a mess. What a powerful trick. Onoki couldn't help admiring Tian Daochao's tricks. This is a powerful ninja, no less than himself. Dust escape. The art of peeling the realm. Onoki threw out another big move, directly using the technique of stripping the original world, and the technique of stripping the original world instantly turned into dust floating in the sky. Then Onoki's dust escape formed an enchantment, besieging Tian Daochao. Tian Daochao's face remained unchanged. He pushed out with both hands, and released a great god Luo Tianzhong. The power of the great god Luo Tianzhong is extraordinary. Expanding suddenly in the air, a wave of terrifying repulsion burst out from the god Luo Tianzhong, hit the barrier, and made a deafening sound. Boom! The power of the great god Luo Tianzhong was so terrifying that he even shattered the barrier, but Tian Daochao's body remained unmoved, still pushing Shenluo Tianzhong in front of Onoki. Onoki's face was serious. He didn't expect Tian Daochao to be so strong. He even broke the barrier with one move, and was able to push it in front of him, which made him a little restless, and quickly put away Chen Dun. Earth Dungeon, Dust Barrier. Onoki let out a loud roar, quickly formed a seal with his hands, and a barrier constructed of earth elements stood in front of him, resisting the impact of Shenluo Tianzhong. Boom! Shenluo Tianzhong slammed into the barrier fiercely, making a loud roar. Crack. Chapter 71. A crack appeared on the barrier, and then a spider web-like pattern appeared. Onoki panicked. This enchantment can't stop Shenluo Tianzhong's attack. A cold smile appeared on the corner of Tian Daochao's mouth. Earth Dungeon, Earth Cage. Onoki shouted a ninja method again. A mountain of earth fell from the sky, wrapped the whole earth, and then sealed Tian Daochao in the earth. The weight of the earth made Tian Daochao unable to move at all. Onoki was relieved to see that Tian Daochao was under his control. Challenging God itself is reckless. Tian Daochao's voice suddenly sounded from the ground, and then, "Spicy Tiansai, Sabik Edu changed the way." Tian Daochao put a big god Luo Tianzhong on the ground, and then the whole ground began to crack. The strong repulsion of Shenluo Tianzhong shattered the land around Tian Daochao. What? Onoki saw that his enchantment was easily broken by Tiandaochao, and he couldn't help being horrified. This enchantment had been cultivated for a long time before he could practice it, but it was so easily broken by Tiandaochao. What is this guy's ninjutsu? Could it be self-centered repulsion? Onoki couldn't figure it out, so he could only continue to push the earth-dust barrier, trying to stop Tiandaochao's attack. Bang bang bang. Onoki kept urging the earth escape and dust barrier to resist Tiandaochao's Shenluo Tianzhong, but unfortunately, the power of Shenluo Tianzhong was too great. Onoki's enchantment gradually collapsed, and finally, the earth wall collapsed and the dust barrier disappeared. Call. Tiandaochao reappeared in Onoki's sight. His eyes were cold, staring at Onoki. Onoki was stared at by Tiandaochao's cold eyes, making hair all over. You. What Onoki wanted to say, Tiandaochao stretched out his arm directly towards Onoki, and said, Wanxiang Tianyan. Then Onoki was horrified to find that he was attracted by a strong gravitational force, and then he was sucked in front of Tiandaochao, and his arm was also grasped by Tiandaochao's palm, and his whole body had been grasped by him. How the hell did you do that? Onoki felt like his arm was about to be crushed. You don't have to know. Tiandaochao had a cruel smile on his lips. Onoki looked at Tiandaochao's pair of reincarnation eyes, and couldn't help being horrified. A black chakra stick appeared in Tiandaochao's hand, and he threw it at Onoki's chest, and Onoki hurriedly used the soil to protect himself. Boom! The chakra black stick slammed heavily on Onamu's earth barrier, and the defense was instantly shattered. Onoki was thrown flying, knocked down several trees, and then fell to the ground, with a mouthful of blood spurting out of his mouth. Onoki struggled to stand up. Tiandaochao stretched out his hand again. Another Vientian Tianyan pulled Onoki over, and then stabbed Onogi's abdomen fiercely with a chakra black stick. Onoki was thrown out again, smashed into the grass in the distance, and spit out a mouthful of blood again. Onoki's body rolled in the grass, gasping for breath, looking at Tiandaochao not far away. His face was full of unwillingness and resentment. Onoki was very unwilling. He thought he could defeat Tiandaochao, but he didn't expect that he would lose and be injured by Tiandaochao. Puff! Onoki spat out another mouthful of blood, then got up from the ground, looked at Tiandaochao. His eyes were full of anger and hatred. Father, grandfather. Not far away, Haitu and Wangtu became anxious when they saw Onogi being injured by Tiandaochao, and also attacked Tiandaochao. Earth dungeon lava crack. Wangtu screamed loudly, and a thick layer of magma gushed out from the ground, rushing towards Tiandaochao, while Haitu hid behind the magma, waiting for an opportunity to attack Tiandaochao. Humph! Tiandao gave a cold snort, and scattered the magma that was attacking him with a Shenluo Tianzhong. Melting escape lime condensation technique. Black soil sprayed lime solution into Tiandaochao's mouth, and Tiandaochao waved his hand again, and a cloud of lime mist knocked black soil away. Onoki couldn't help being surprised when he saw that Tiandaochao was so powerful. Drink. Haitu attached the technique of weighted rock to his fist, and swung his fist violently at Tiandaochao, but with just one wave of his hand, Haitu was sent flying again, and a stream of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Although your attack is good, it's a pity that it's still weak. If you want to kill me, you're not worthy. Tiandao said disdainfully. HMPH. I don't believe I can't kill you. Haitu wiped away the blood from his mouth, and Haitu spit out concrete from his mouth in an attempt to trap Tiandaochao. Tiandaochao waved his right arm again, and a powerful magnetic field appeared around the black soil, and the black soil was immediately sucked into the magnetic field, and he was tightly bound by a huge lime ball, unable to escape. Haisu struggled desperately, trying to break through the magnetic field, but Tiandaochao was another Vientian Tianyan, sucking Haisu in front of him, and the chakra black stick in his hand pierced Haisu's tender abdomen heavily. What? Haitu let out a scream, and suddenly there was severe pain in his stomach, and a stream of warm liquid flowed out. Hee, this is the end of your confrontation with me. You are not my opponent at all. You are still far behind. It is useless to challenge God. Tiandao said indifferently, and then threw the black soil out with a wave of his hand. Black soil. A heart-piercing sound sounded, but Didera came riding a clay bird. Didera jumped off the clay bird and rushed towards the direction of the black soil. Onoki also hurried over and hugged Haitu. Haitu's body trembled, his internal organs were shattered by Tiandaochao, and Haidu couldn't even speak at this time. Grandpa, I am useless, I can't help you, Haidu said painfully. Onoki's eyes were rosy, and seeing Haidu injured like this, his heart ached. Haidu, how are you? Didera ran over anxiously, looking at Haidu in Onoki's arms. Brother Didela. Haidu weakly opened his eyes and glanced at Didela, then murmured softly. Haidu. Didera burst into tears when he saw Haidu's injury like this. Grandpa Onogi, Brother Didera, I can't take care of you anymore, you have to take care. Haidu suddenly fainted, and his body lay limply in Onoki's arms. Onoki turned pale with shock, checked Haidu's breath, and found that he was still breathing. Black Earth. Onu was distraught. An old man who had been in the ninja for many years burst into tears and flowed down, and immediately slapped on Didela's face with a slap on Dayemu's face. Come to you. Poor my granddaughter is infatuated with you, and you remember your broken clay every day. Quote. Didera was stunned by Onoki's slap, nodded with a dull face, and said, yes, it's all because of me. I don't deserve to be Black Soil's lover, so I'm going to avenge Black Soil now. After all, Didera walked towards Tiandaochao with red eyes. Didera, calm down, are you going to do something to me? Tiandaochao raised his eyebrows and said. You hurt He too, I'm going to kill you. Didera said through gritted teeth. If you dare to do it, I will definitely let you know what life is better than death. Tiandaochao also said viciously. Didera was annoyed by Tiandaochao's words. No matter what kind of organization he was, if he dared to hurt his own woman, Didera wanted him to die. The mouth on Didera's hand ate the white clay and created a giant wyvern. C2 Dragon. The clay dragon created by Didera kept spitting clay bombs at Tiandaochao. Didera wanted to kill him with the most powerful weapon, and only by killing him could he vent his anger. Hee. Tiandaochao laughed disdainfully, and said, how dare you kill me with your strength? It's really laughing at other people's big teeth. After that, Tiandaochao bounced all the clay bombs spit out by the dragon with a Shenluo Tianzhong. Detonating clay billowing bird. Didera created several clay birds with the mouth in his hand, and threw them at Tiandaochao. The clay birds started to explode a few feet in front of Tiandaochao. Tiandaochao easily dodged the clay birds, jumped into the air lightly, and abruptly took out the black chakra stick in his hand. Tiandaochao held the black chakra stick in his hand and aimed it at Didela below and threw it. HMPH. Didera snorted coldly, and the clay in his hand spurted out again, turning into a little spider. C1 Little Spider. Didera also released the little spider bomb, and rushed towards Tiandaochao. C1 Little Spider. Didera turned the clay into a spiderling again and threw it. C1 Little Spider. C1 Little Spider. Didera released more than 10 small spiders in a row. Tiandaochao couldn't help frowning. His body quickly swept forward, a Shenluo Tianzhong bounced all the clay spiders away, and then stretched out his arms towards Dida. Wanxiang Tianian. Didela suddenly felt a gravitational pull pulling him in the direction of Tiandaochao, but Didela sneered and made several clay dolls. Detonating clay psychic art. Several puppets walking crookedly rushed towards Tiandaochao, while Didela grabbed the clay dragon and flew into the air again. The clay puppet exploded immediately when it touched Tiandaochao, and those clay dolls walking crookedly rushed towards Tiandaochao. Tiandaochao was not in a hurry. A Shenluo Tianzhong smashed the clay dragon, and then another Shenluo Tianzhong smashed the clay doll into pieces, and Tiandaochao smashed the clay doll while swinging at Didera with a black chakra stick. Didera didn't dare to take it head on, and avoided Tiandaochao's offensive with a blink of an eye. Hee, you want to fight with me, you are too young. Tiandaochao said with a sneer, turned around, kicked his right leg, and rushed towards Didera like a cannonball. Didera was startled, so he had to use the self-destruct clone. Didera first used the shadow clone technique to release a shadow clone, and then put the clay bomb into the shadow clone. Tiandaochao's black chakra stick penetrated the shadow clone, and the shadow clone exploded directly. The huge explosion happened next to Tiandaochao's body, blowing Tiandaochao out. Ha ha. Tiandaochao smiled when he was blown out. He knew that Didela's move had no effect on him at all. Seeing this situation, Didela was so powerful that he quickly made AC3 number 18. This is a puppet bomb made of detonating clay by adding his own highest chakra. In the original book, his bomb can blow up the entire hidden sand village without Gaara's obstruction. It can be said that it is his strongest attack method except for self-explosion and C4. This is his whole card, and one of his highest fighting strengths. Dedaila is confident that he will kill Tian Daochao in the most powerful explosion of C3 number 18. Tian Daochao also felt the powerful power of the C3 bomb, and muttered to himself, "It's really troublesome, but unfortunately I am not Pen's 6 paths, otherwise it would be much easier to have other 5 paths to help me." Tian Daochao flew into the air, opened his arms, and said, "Stupid people, feel the power of God. Chao Shenluo Tianzheng." Tian Daochao opened his arms, and a huge repulsive airflow suddenly appeared in the sky. This repulsive airflow kept rotating and compressing, and hit Tian Daochao as the center, and even razed trees and houses to the ground wherever it went. Boom! The huge repulsive airflow collided with Dedaira's powerful C3 bomb, and the whole ground trembled immediately. Dedaira's face became extremely pale. Dedaira controlled the clay dragon to fly to the sky quickly to avoid being affected. Dedaira stared dumbfounded at the scene below, and his heart was full of shock. Dedaira's clay dragon had no resistance when it came into contact with Shenluo Tianzheng. The clay dragon was torn apart by the repulsive airflow of Shenluo Tianzheng. After the clay dragon was destroyed, it disappeared immediately, but Dedaira was bounced back and hit the ground heavily. Dedaira felt that his chest was about to be shattered. Ahem! Dedaira couldn't help spitting out 2 mouthfuls of blood. His face was extremely pale, and his heart was in severe pain. It seemed that Tian Daochao's move had caused serious damage to him. Dedaila didn't continue to fight, but looked at Tian Daochao standing in the sky in horror. The surrounding forests and houses were all destroyed by Chao Shenluo Tianzheng, and the entire forest became a wilderness. The guards watching the battle in Yuran village were all trembling with fright, hiding in the sentry post and not daring to come out. Is it really the power that humans can have? Dedaira swallowed, his heart sank suddenly. If this was the case, he could only explode himself to destroy Tian Daochao. Onoki and Wangtu Haidu both escaped into the ground in a hurry just now, and were almost buried alive. Now they drilled out of the ground. Seeing Tian Daochao's destructive power, they couldn't help but shrink their pupils. This kind of power is probably on par with Uchiha Madara. Onoki took a breath and said, "Boy, you can't deal with this guy alone. Let me help you, old man." Onoki flew to Dedaira's side, and said with a solemn face. Onoki waved his hands and shouted, "Dust escape, the technique of stripping boundaries." Dust escape, boundary stripping technique is an upgraded version of dust escape, original realm stripping technique. It not only expands the scope and power, but also has a persistent effect. It will trap the target in the barrier, and any object that enters the boundary stripping technique will be turned into an atomic state, and then a powerful explosion will occur. Seeing this, Dedaila quickly dodged to the distance, and at the same time manipulated the clay dragon to release a clay bomb, intending to attack Tian Daochao, but he underestimated Tian Daochao. Tian Daochao was prepared and dodged before the clay bomb was released. Bang! Bang! As soon as Tian Daochao dodged the clay bomb, Onoki's dust escape boundary stripping technique shrouded Tian Daochao in it. Although Tian Daochao escaped the clay bomb, Onoki's dust escape boundary stripping technique also trapped him in it. Tian Daochao's Shenluo Tianzheng hit Onaji's chest, but Tian Daochao's Shenluo Tianzheng was blocked by Onaji's weighted rock armor. Humph! Onogi snorted coldly, turned his wrist, and the barrier of dust escape boundary stripping technique began to disintegrate Tian Daochao, and Onoki's face became more and more ugly. A joke appeared on the corner of Tian Daochao's mouth. Samsara Eye directly used the sealing technique to absorb the seal. The holder of the Samsara Eye can use the seal absorption as the center to form a shield to absorb the opponent's ninjutsu, and Onoki's dust escape limit stripping technique can no longer decompose Tian Daochao. "You actually absorbed Chen Dun," Onoki said with an ugly face. Tian Dao smiled contemptuously and said, "Only an idiot like you can learn this kind of ninjutsu." "Ha ha ha, don't be unconvinced. This dust escape is very powerful, even Uchiha Madara and Senjujuma may not be able to learn it." Onogi laughed. Really, Tian Daochao was too lazy to play tricks with Onoki, and another Shenluo Tianzheng tried to smash Onaji's dust escape boundary stripping technique, but Onoki's eyes froze, and he directly chose to blow up the barrier, causing huge damage to Tiandaochao. And let Tiandaochao's attack hit him. Boom! Tiandaochao's attack landed on the barrier, and the barrier immediately burst. Tiandaochao's body was shattered in many places, bloody. Tiandaochao's strength is indeed too strong, and an attack of this level cannot seriously damage him. And Dedela's eyes became more and more cold. He didn't expect Tiandaochao to be so powerful, and he also mastered such a powerful ability. His current situation can be said to be extremely dangerous. He had to find a way to kill Tiandaochao with one blow. C4 Garuda Luo. Dedera used his ultimate kill. Dedera ate a ball of detonating clay and spit it out from his mouth, forming a huge doll that was exactly like himself. Inside the doll were tiny clay spiders that were invisible to the naked eye. Once the doll exploded, it would spread these clay spiders in the air within a certain range, inhale the clay spider into the body, and then produce countless explosions. The violent explosions spread towards Tiandaochao. Even Tiandaochao had to avoid the edge temporarily. Dedera saw the right moment, and controlled a large number of clay spiders to attack Tiandaochao. Tiandao snorted coldly, and a shot of Shenluo Tianzhong shot at Dedela's clay spiders, and the bodies of several clay spiders were directly crushed. Seeing this, Dedela smiled faintly. After the puppet exploded, a large number of clay spiders also began to explode one after another. After all, Tiandaochao did not have the blur like Obito, and could only be blown back by countless clay bombs. Dedera manipulated a large number of clay bombs to continuously release clay spiders, constantly attacking Tiandaochao. Tiandaochao's body was blasted with bloodstains, and his body kept flying upside down, while Dedela took the opportunity to rush towards Tiandaochao. "You're not dead yet," Tiandaochao said with a gloomy face. He never thought that Dedela was not dead. Tiandaochao's body shook, and a Shenluo Tianzhong hit Dedera again. Dedera's body turned into a clay giant again, and Tiandaochao's Shenluo Tianzhong fell on the clay again. At this time, Tiandaochao's breath was sluggish and his flesh was mutilated, and his body was also blasted with many cracks. Dedera succeeded in one blow, and Onoki immediately controlled the rock giant to launch an attack. Boom! Onoki's fist hit Tiandaochao's head hard, making Tiandaochao dizzy, but the rock giant seized the opportunity and hammered down on Tiandaochao's body fiercely. After a while, Tiandaochao's body was completely destroyed by the rock giant. Dedera collapsed on the ground with a tired face. His physical strength was almost exhausted, and there were still many clay bombs on his body. He didn't dare to touch it at all, for fear that he would also be killed by the blast. Seeing that Tiandaochao had been dealt with, Onoki breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't expect Tiandaochao's strength to be so powerful that he could beat his enchantment stripping technique into such a virtue. Fortunately, Dedera still has a killer weapon. "Smelly boy, sleep with me in Yenian village." Onogi took advantage of Dedera's rest and grabbed Dedera's arm, ready to take him away. "You dare!" Dedera was furious, shaking his hand, and a clay bomb appeared in his hand. Once the clay bomb was ignited, it would form several clay spiders. This kind of thing is not something that ordinary ninjas can resist. Onoki was ashamed to think of the ghostly appearance of being blown up by Dedera's clay bomb last time, and he also had a grudge. Dedera breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Onoki didn't dare to act rashly. He just wants to find a place to rest now. Seeing that Dedera's aura had weakened, Onoki relaxed his vigilance, not daring to get close to Dedera so as not to annoy him. When Dedela was about to leave, he saw Onoki approaching with the dying Haidu in his arms, and Dedera saw Haidu rushing up. Dedera looked at the weak and unconscious Haidu, forgetting all the pain in his body, and wanted to hug Haidu. Onoki pushed Dedera away, and said angrily, "You little fool, if my granddaughter dies today, the old man will completely rank you as an S-level traitor. From then on, we, Yenian village, will never die with you." Dedela didn't care what Onoki and Yenian village thought of him at all. All he cared about now was whether the black soil could survive. "I don't care about S-level rebellion. Haidu is my lover. If something happens to her, let me be buried with her," Dedera said firmly. Ono was so angry that he couldn't speak. "Father, stop talking nonsense with this fool. Hurry back to the village and ask the doctor in Yenian village to treat Haidu." Wangtu behind also ran over panting and said anxiously to Onoki. Hearing Wangtu's words, Onoki's anger dissipated a lot. He nodded and said, okay, then let's go back to the village first, and let's send Haidu to the hospital first. Dedala grabbed Onoki, and Onoki turned his head to look at Dedala in doubt. Dedala said, it will be a long time before you return to Yenian village. The black soil may not be able to hold on. I will go to my boss to save her. Your boss? You want to bring Haidu back to the Shao organization while you are on the horse. You want to eat you. Onoki blew his beard and stared angrily. Are all of you in Yenian village paratroopers? Don't you all see the injuries on Haidu's body? Don't you all find that she has lost too much blood and her body is seriously overloaded? Don't you all see that Haidu's situation is very dangerous? Haven't you all discovered it? Now you have no other choice but to believe me. If you don't go to the Akatsuki organization to find rescue now, Haidu will undoubtedly die when you return to Yenian village. Dedara retorted sternly. After listening to Didara's words, Onoki and Wangtu fell silent. Onoki looked at Haidu in his arms, sighed and said, Wangtu, lead your team to Yenian village to find a medical ninja, and remember not to say that Haidu was injured. As for me, I will go to Akatsuki organization with Didara. Wangtu said worriedly. Father, are you really going to the Akatsuki organization to find medical ninjas to treat Haidu? Onogi nodded. Yes, I have to go. If I don't go to the medical ninja, Kuroto will die. Hearing Onoki's words, Wangtu could only nod in agreement. He turned around and threatened Didara. You'd better not have any wrong thoughts. Didara snorted coldly. HMPH, you don't need to worry about my affairs. Alright, I'll just wait and see. You'd better pray that there won't be any accidents in Haidu. After saying that, Wangtu turned and left. Seeing the back of the Lois going away, Didara sneered, and said to Onoki, Old man, let's go to Urin village. Onoki didn't speak, and rushed towards Urinen village with the black soil. Rainy village. As soon as Obito came out after making out with Xiaonan, he sensed that Tiandaochao had died, and he was shocked. These ninjas summoned by the system have the original link with him, and Obito can sense what happened to these ninjas. System, help me check the situation of Tiandaochao, Obito said with a frown. He wanted to know who was so capable of scrapping Tiandaochao. Looking at the screen played by the system, Obito's face was strange for a while. He never expected that the cause of the incident was that Onogi brought black soil and Lois to Urinen village to find Didara, and was attacked by Tendochao as an enemy. Finally, Didara also came and defeated Tendocha together with Onoki. Obito thought about it for a while. Haidu is seriously injured now. It is estimated that if Didara is really a smart person, it is time to come to the Akatsuki organization for help. It is estimated that Didara will come to me soon. Do I want to help Black Earth heal? It stands to reason that Didara has caused a lot of trouble for the Akatsuki organization during this time, and now he has abolished his heavenly Tao. Obito can completely remove Didara from the Akatsuki organization, but Obito has another idea, that is to use Didara to let Didara become the shadow of Yenian village, so that the Akatsuki organization can further control Yenian village. In this way, black soil is cured, Onoki is sold as a favor, and Didara can be used to control Yenian village, which can be said to kill two birds with one stone. Obito is thinking about how to use Didara, and at the same time is considering whether to let Didara do this. After all, he is a character. Although he is very confident in his own strength, he is still worried that if things go wrong, it will cause trouble for the Akatsuki organization. While Obito was hesitating, the system suddenly indicated that Didara had entered the Akatsuki organization. Obito was startled. He didn't expect Didara to come so quickly. Could it be that he was afraid that he would refuse to treat Haidu, so he came so quickly? Obito hurriedly adjusted the system. Let the system take back Tiandaochao into the system space and let Tiandaochao repair and restore, and took Tiandaochao back. After doing this, Obito focused his attention on Didara. He knew that Didara would definitely go to the Akatsuki organization to find him. If he didn't get close to Didara now, there would be no such opportunity in the future. After thinking about it for a while, Obito immediately rushed to the gate of Urinen village. Rainy village. Obito and Didara came to the gate of Urinen village, and the two stopped. Didara looked at Onoki and said, Old man, just wait for me here, I'll be back soon. No, Onoki shook his head. I'm also going to find the leader of your Akatsuki organization. If you, a little fool, collude with him to kill me and Haidu, I don't worry about you. It doesn't matter if I die at an early age, Haidu can't die here. Didera was furious when he heard the words, "What? Am I this kind of person in your heart? I like black soil, how could I harm him?" Onoki still said worriedly, "If I was looking for you, why would I bring Haidu to Urin village? Now that Haidu was seriously injured by you and unconscious, I can't let you bring Haidu into Urin village again." "Old man, what the hell are you thinking? Do you think I'm willing to bring you to Urin village? If it wasn't for helping you cure black soil, I wouldn't be bothered to meddle in this business," Didera said angrily. "Forget it, if you really want to save Haidu, you can take her there, but you'd better protect Haidu and don't let her make any mistakes," Onoki urged. "I know, don't worry." Didera snorted coldly, then picked up Haidu's delicate body and strode toward Urin village. After walking into Urin village, Didera felt a huge force enveloped him. Didera was shocked. He didn't expect that the defense of Urin village was so tight, and this force seemed to be many times stronger than the Pain and Xiaonan he met before. Didera didn't dare to neglect, hugged the black earth tightly in his arms, and stared around vigilantly. "Didera, do you dare to come back?" The Nagato of the Samsara eyes came out, and a pair of Samsara eyes stared at Didera. The strong coercion made Didera breathless. Although Didera has never seen Nagato, but through the eyes of reincarnation, he can also know that Nagato is the master who manipulates the 6 paths of pain behind the scenes, that is, the leader of the Akatsuki organization on the surface. "Boss, please save Kuroto," Didera begged Nagato. Kuroto was pierced through the entire abdomen by Tiandaochao's black chakra stick, and now her delicate face was pale for a while, and she was about to die. "Humph," Nagato snorted coldly, and a ray of thunder shot out from the palm of his hand, hitting the wound on Haidu's abdomen, instantly forcing out the blood in Haidu's abdomen, and then Didera put Haidu's body on the ground and supported him. "Boss, I know I shouldn't cause trouble for the Akatsuki organization, and I shouldn't do anything to the members of the Akatsuki organization. If you want to kill or cut me, you can help save Haidu, please," Didera begged. "You really think you can order me?" Nagato glanced at Didera disdainfully. "You are no longer a member of the Akatsuki organization, so you are not qualified to bargain with me. I will not take your life in the past. If you are sensible, immediately take your woman out of my sight, or don't blame me for being cruel and let your woman be buried with you." Didera was shocked when he heard the words. He never expected that Nagato would be so cruel and ruthless. He would turn his face when he said he would turn his back on him, and kill him if he said he would kill someone. "Boss," Didera opened his mouth and shouted, "I know you are very angry, I know you hate me, no matter how you punish me, I just hope you save Haidu, she is about to die." Looking at Didera's appearance, Nagato cursed inwardly, "Idiot. Leader, you can just do it, please save her." Didera begged again. "I'll ask you again, are you going or not?" Nagato asked sharply. I'll count to 3, and if you don't leave, I'm sorry." After speaking, Nagato waved the black chakra stick in his hand again, and a Shenra Tianzhong slashed towards Didera in an instant. Didera hurriedly dodged, but Shenra Tianzhong still knocked his body several meters away. "Didera, if you don't leave again, don't blame me for turning my face and denying anyone." "Boss." Didera was anxious and wanted to plead again. Nagato waved his hand impatiently, whispering, "Take your woman and get out immediately, or don't blame me for being cruel." Didera had no choice but to carry the black soil on his back and prepare to leave here. At this moment, a voice suddenly entered Didera's ears. "Nagato, don't be so impatient, how can you say that Didera was once an old member of our Akatsuki organization?" Didera followed the voice, just in time to see Obito coming out of the Kamui space and appearing in front of the two of them. As if seeing a savior, Didera hurried to Obito and begged, No, Boss Obito, please save my woman, please save her, please save her." Obito looked at Haidu. Seeing that Haidu was dying, his brows were tightly frowned. "Good guy, is this the black soil with legs in the future?" The long legs with a pair of fishnet stockings are really pretty, and there is a slightly pale face in a coma, with picturesque eyebrows and eyes, lips as gorgeous and attractive as roses, that hair as smooth as silk, fluttering in the wind, and a string of water droplets hanging on that long and slender neck. "Boss Obito, hurry up and save Haidu." Deidara continued to beg. Obito ignored Deidara, and instead looked at Nagato. Nagato, you go back first, I'll take care of it here. Nagato looked at Deidara warily, nodded, and said, okay, I'll go back first. After speaking, Nagato turned and left. After Nagato left, Obito said to Deidara, you come with me. After saying that, Obito disappeared directly in place, and Deidara disappeared behind him. Obito brought Deidara and Black Soil into a room, and said, now there is no one else, we can talk, Senior Deidara. Hearing Obito's words, Deidara's face broke out in cold sweat, and hurriedly apologized. Obito boss, I used to be blind to Taishan, and I blamed you for hiding it too well, so I regarded you as a newcomer. You adults don't care about villains. Obito waved his hand indifferently, you don't need to apologize to me, and you don't have to care about what you did to me before. Now I just want to tell you that you caused this trouble yourself. Onoki and Kuroto came here to find you. Tendochou just attacked Onoki and Kuroto in his own right. From the standpoint of the Akatsuki organization, Tendochou did nothing wrong. Kuroto deserved the injury. Yes. Deidara nodded quickly. What Obito boss said is that Black Soil is indeed self-inflicted, but how long can she last in her current state? If Black Soil dies, won't Onoki and Yenian village have revenge on Akatsuki? Deidara said. Enmity, she is your woman, what does it have to do with me? Think about it for yourself, will Onoki hate you more or the Akatsuki organization? Besides, Tiandaochou just attacked her. Could it be that Onoki and Haidu came to the gate of Yurinan village to provoke us, and our Akatsuki organization can't fight back? Obito said indifferently. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2 Deidara's anger value. This, Deidara couldn't refute. After all, he was a traitor of the Akatsuki organization. He was not Obito. He didn't know what level of Master Obito was, but judging from the powerful strength that Nagato showed just now, he should be above Tiandaochou. This filled Deidara with fear and regret. Boss Obito, this matter is all my fault, it doesn't matter if you want my life, but please save Kuroto. I deserve to die for betraying the Akatsuki organization, but Kuroto is innocent, you put everything on my head, I am willing to take all the responsibility. Deidara said, and even knelt down to Obito with a thud, and begged on the ground. Seeing this, Obito knew that it was almost time. After all, it is not good to push people into a hurry, so Obito said, actually, it is not impossible for you to ask me to save her. I can even count you as a member of our Akatsuki organization again. Deidara was taken aback, and then said pleasantly, really? Boss Obito, if you really want to save Haidu, I will do whatever you ask me to do. Congratulations to the host, you have gained 2 Deidara's gratitude. You really want to? Obito asked. I really want to, as long as you can save my lover Haidu. Deidara said firmly. Obito said, give me the Haidu people first, and wait until I bring them back to life. Don't waste time. Hearing this, Deidara nodded immediately and said, yes, you should treat the Black Soil first. As he spoke, he put the Black Soil in his arms on Obito's arm. Obito hugged Haidu's warm and delicate body, feeling a little distracted. He didn't know if this was considered taking advantage of others' danger, but how long would it take if he didn't take advantage of others' danger at this time? Obito looked at Kuroto, then walked out. After Obito walked out of the room, Nagato was guarding the outside of the room. Seeing Obito coming out, he asked, how is it? Deidara didn't dance anymore. Obito shook his head, and said, no, I naturally have a way to deal with Deidara, isn't that old guy Onogi outside the door? You go and meet him first. Quote. Nagato nodded and walked out. Obito carried Kuroto's delicate body to the Shinwei space, and then placed her on the bed. Let's give her some vitality first. After thinking for a while, Obito performed the palm immortal technique, tore off Haidu's top, and placed his palm on her tender belly. Then the vitality was sent in, and soon the wound on Haidu's chest began to heal. It's okay, it can still be treated. Looking at the Black Soil that has recovered most of its blood color, Obito secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Haidu opened his sleepy beautiful eyes, and saw a strange man pumping life force into his chest, his pretty face turned red to the neck in an instant. Haidu wanted to say something, but he couldn't speak because he had no strength. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 2 Black Earth Shy emotions. Black Soil, Obito shouted, "Don't move, your injury is under control for the time being, don't use chakra now, let's rest for a while." Haidu hummed lightly, relaxed, and then closed his eyes to rest his mind. Obito frowned and looked at Kuroto. Although Kuroto's injury was temporarily under control, Kuroto's abdomen was pierced by Tendochou, and it was difficult to repair it. Obito could only find a way to transplant intercolumn cells to Kuroto, and restore Kuroto through the recovery power of intercolumn cells. Obito walked to the side, and took out a small porcelain bottle, which contained a golden yellow liquid. This liquid is the liquid of intercolumnar cells. Although it has not yet exerted its effect, it is also a very precious liquid. The things are too rare. When Obito went to Konoha, he searched for it from Danzo, and Orochimaru researched it. "Haidu, these are intercolumnar cells. You need them now. After I heal your injury, I will transplant it for you. However, the transplantation will take a long time, so you must cooperate," Obito said. Haidu hummed lightly when he heard the words, and then opened his beautiful eyes. Then Obito stepped forward and poured the liquid on Kuroto's injured abdomen. After the liquid was poured on, Kuroto immediately felt a strong itching pain. Haidu gritted his teeth and endured, but the itchy feeling was so strong that Haidu's delicate body couldn't help trembling, and she couldn't help but groan in pain. At this time, Heitu's eyes suddenly widened, because she felt that the wound on her abdomen was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and she felt as if she had regained her vitality. She knew it was the interstitial cells. Haidu was terrified in his heart. What is this thing? Why is it so powerful? At this time, Haidu couldn't bear the pain and itchiness of his growing body anymore, and moaned softly from his throat. "What? Congratulations, you have obtained another 2 black soil embarrassment points." Hearing this tender moan, Obito's heart skipped a beat. This sound is simply the sound of heaven. He had never seen black soil screaming so ecstatically. Then, Haidu felt the pain and itchiness in his body disappeared, and he felt that his body strength seemed to be many times stronger than before. The delicate skin of his body was exposed outside, his pretty face was flushed, and his body was dripping with sweat. Thinking of how shameful she was in front of this stranger Obito just now, Haidu wanted to find a crack in the ground and sneak in. "Congratulations, the host has gained another 2 black soil embarrassment points." When Obito saw Haidu's appearance, his heart was slightly turbulent. This woman is really too attractive. He also knew that now is not the time to have fun, so he quickly said, "Okay, your injury has stabilized for the time being, I will perform the palm immortal technique on you a few more times, and then you can leave here." Haidu breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that. She didn't want to stay here any longer, she was too shy. Obito performed the palm immortal technique, continuously injecting vitality into Haidu's body, and soon Haidu felt that the injuries in his body had healed. "Okay, let me help you put on your clothes," Obito said. "No, I'll do it myself." Haidu quickly refused. Although she was a girl, she was a very conservative person in her bones. Obito didn't say anything, but helped Kuroto sit up, and then began to help her get dressed. Haidu's skin is very smooth, white and delicate, and feels very good to the touch. As expected of Haidu's skin, it feels very comfortable to the touch. After getting dressed, Obito saw that Kuroto's cheeks were red and looked a little cute. Obito glanced at Haidu, and suddenly felt a little throbbing in his heart, but he still endured it. After all, he couldn't do too much. If he really cheated Deidara, Deidara would have to fight himself hard. "Okay, you can get up," Obito said. Heitu got up from the bed upon hearing this. "I'm going out first." After Obito finished speaking, he turned and walked out of the bedroom. He knew that if he continued to stay in the room, he would definitely lose control. The host gets 2 black soil gratitude emotions. The host gets 3 black soil embarrassment points. Seeing that Obito had left the room, Haidu took a deep breath and shyly covered her flushed pretty face. After Obito came out of Kamui's space, he saw Deidara, who was full of anxiety. When Deidara saw Obito coming out, he rushed up, grabbed Obito's shoulder and asked, "How is black soil? Can you survive?" Obito gently pushed Deidara's arm away, and said, "Haidu's injury has completely healed. I transplanted intercolumnar cells to him, and her physical fitness will become even better than before." Obito was still a little embarrassed to see Deidara, After all, he just took advantage of Haidu just now, but he also blamed Didera for keeping Haidu's heart in the cold. If it was him, Haidu would be confinement now. That's good, that's good. Didera breathed a sigh of relief and said, by the way, what about Haidu? Why didn't she come out with you? Isn't she supposed to be by your side? Obito shook his head and said, she still needs to rest and regain her strength, so I'll let her stay in my Shinwei space first. Hearing what Obito said, Didera's expression became a bit gloomy again, but he still forced himself to ask, how long will it take for the black soil to fully recover? Obito smiled and shook his head and said, it depends on her own recovery. If she recovers quickly, she will be able to return to her previous state in a short time. If she recovers slowly, it may take some time, no more than half a month at most. Didera nodded, thinking to himself, Haidu, come on. Quote. Didera looked at Obito gratefully and said, Boss Obito, thank you, if it weren't for your black soil, I would probably be dead. Tell me, what do you need me to do? Even if you want my life, I won't say anything. Obito looked at Didera with red eyes, shook his head and said, Didera, what are you talking about? You just need to help me with things, if you die, it will be too cheap for you. By the way, what are intercolumnar cells? Didera asked suspiciously. Obito said, the Hashirama cells were invented by Orochimaru. They were originally used for Danzo. I also transplanted them into my body. They are made from the cells of the first generation of Hokage Senju Hashirama. Its energy is very abundant. After transplantation, it can provide human beings with strong vitality. It can also make people have the blood succession limit of mutton. However, there are also flaws. Because the Hashirama cells are too powerful, some people's bodies cannot fully fit with the Hashirama cells. Generally speaking, they can only be transplanted when life is in crisis. Didera nodded, and said, that's really a precious thing, thank you for using it for black soil. Obito waved his hand and said, what is this? I'm not just doing it for black soil, I also need you to help me do things to pay back. Didera asked. After talking for a long time, what exactly do you want me to do for you? Obito smiled and said, it's very simple. Kuroto has recovered from her injuries now. When she fully recovers, you can take her back to Onogi. You have to say more good things about our Akatsuki organization and ask Onogi to put down his guard against our Akatsuki organization. Then you go back to Yenien village and become the next Dokage by virtue of your status as Onoki's apprentice and Kuroto's lover. Didera understood what Obito said, and said, Boss Obito, you don't want me to become Tukage and bring Yenien village back to the Shunshao organization, right? Obito nodded and said, that's right, you're right. Onogi is preparing to deal with our Akatsuki organization now. If he can take advantage of his defenselessness and divert his attention to other places, he won't deal with our Akatsuki organization again. At the same time, I don't need you to bring Yenien village to surrender. I just need you to allow Akatsuki to control Yenien village. After hearing what Obito said, Didera was silent for a moment, and then said, then Obito boss, are you going to hand over Yenien village to me for management? Obito shook his head and said, it's a matter of course. Yenien village is not only owned by Onoki and the others, but also belongs to you and other villagers in Yenien village. You can establish a system in Yenien village, replace all the senior management of Yenien village with your subordinates, and then control the entire Yenien village. You should feel at ease when you cooperate with our Shao organization. You should also know how fast Yurin village is developing now. If you cooperate with Yurin village, Yenien village will achieve great development. Didera nodded. He knew that what Obito said was true. Yurin village is developing too fast now. It has developed into a big village in less than a year. Although the villagers of Yurin village are busy with manufacturing in factories and doing business with other villages, Yurin village has monopolized some of the market sources of other 5 major ninja villages since the implementation of Obito's policy. Now the market is getting better and better. Didera nodded and said, I'll think about it. I'm going to talk to Onogi about this matter now. Obito boss, you wait here for my news, and I will give you an answer as soon as possible. Obito said, well, let's go. After Didera bowed to Obito, he left here and walked towards Onogi. Onogi was standing there pacing anxiously, with a preoccupied look. Nagato was standing beside him, and there was a mess around them. Didera was shocked when he saw this scene. Could it be that Onoki and Nagato had a dispute? Didera hurried up and called Onoki to stop him. Onoki stopped and turned to look at Didera, and said, "Didera, why are you here so soon?" Didera took a breath and said, "Old man, let's talk." Onogi said impatiently, "If you have anything to say, hurry up. This guy with reincarnation eyes beat my old man just now, and now my old man's bones are about to fall apart." Hearing Onoki's words, Didera's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Onoki and Nagato really had a falling out, and then Nagato came to seek revenge on Onogi? Didera quickly comforted Onogi. "Teacher, don't be angry." Onogi snorted and said, "There's nothing the teacher can do if he's angry. You brat's wings are hardened, and this organization is not a good one. Old man, I have nothing to do." Didela said, "The black soil has been healed by our leader now, and he can go back with us after a few days of recuperation." Onoki heard the words and said pleasantly, "Has Haitu's injury healed?" "This is good news, that's great." Didera nodded and said, "Yes, she has recovered, and she is resting in the house now, and it is estimated that she will fully recover in 2 or 3 days." Onogi laughed and said, "Great, then I'll go find her now." Didera stopped him and said, "Our boss won't let him in, you'd better wait patiently for a few days." Onoki was about to get mad when he heard the words, but when he saw Nagato who was staring at him, he immediately froze and said unwillingly, "Well, if that's the case, I'll wait for 2 days, and when the black soil recovers, I must personally visit your leader." Onoki finished speaking and left. After watching Onoki leave, Didera turned his head to look at Nagato, who had been staring at Didera indifferently without saying a word, like an iceberg. Didera looked at Nagato and laughed twice, and told Nagato about the plan to bring soil to him. After Nagato listened, his expression also changed, and he said, "Is he sure that this is feasible? In this way, Yenian village will become our sphere of influence, and will Onogi really let you be Tukage?" Didera nodded and said, "I've confirmed that although I haven't cooperated with the boss yet, he is so kind to me. His decision is my decision. No matter how difficult it is, I will try. I will definitely obey the boss's decision. And I also believe that Onogi is not a stubborn old man, and it is not impossible to cooperate with our Akatsuki organization." Nagato said, "Then go back and tell Onoki now that our Akatsuki organization is willing to cooperate with Yenian village." Didera nodded, and chased after Onoki who had already left. As soon as Onogi walked to the dormitory building arranged by Yurin village, he saw Didera chasing after him. Onoki asked suspiciously, "You boy, why are you here?" Panting, Didera grabbed Onogi's shoulders, stared closely at Onogi's eyes, and said, "Old man, I want to be Dokage." Onoki was stunned for a moment, and then said excitedly, "You boy, finally figured it out. Are you willing to go back to Yenian village to be toying?" "Yes," Didera said. Onoki patted Didera's shoulder and said, "Okay, very good. I knew it, you must be able to figure it out. There is nothing serious about your body now." Didera smiled bitterly, shook his head and said, "My health is fine, but I don't want to go back to Yenian village now. I want to stay in Shao organization." "You're crazy, the Akatsuki organization is the enemy's force, it's too dangerous to stay here." Onoki eagerly persuaded. Didera said, "I know, but I want to build my own team here. The Shao organization is a good place, and there is a lot to do here." Onoki frowned and said, "But if you continue to stay in the Akatsuki organization, how can you go back with me to inherit Tsuchikage?" Didera said, "This is exactly what I want to tell you. I want to inherit toying as a member of the Akatsuki organization." Onoki heard the words and said angrily, "Impossible. If this is the case, is your toying from Yenian village or organized by them?" Didera smiled and said, "Don't worry, old man. I will follow the rules of the Shao organization, and I will never exceed my authority." Onogi snorted coldly, "You boy, don't think that I don't know what you're up to. Don't you just want to help the Akatsuki organization control the power of Yenian village? Do you think we will agree to this if you do this? Don't wishful thinking, and I will not allow you to join the Akatsuki organization. This is the last chance, otherwise you will bear the consequences." Didera said, "Old man, you are wrong to say that. I did this for the good of Yenian village. Don't you know how well Yurin village is developing under the leadership of Akatsuki now? Whether it is political economy or military strength, Yurin Village is one of the best in the ninja world. If we can cooperate with them, then Yenian Village will also be able to grow rapidly in the next few years. Onoki shouted angrily. Shut up, do you think you can help our Yenian Village by doing this? In that case, wouldn't our Yenian Village merge with Yurin Village and become a personal power of their Shao organization? Dedala said. Old man, don't get excited, listen to me. In fact, I do this to hope that one day in the future, Yenian Village will be able to keep pace with Yurin Village after it grows. At that time, I think we can also use the power of Yurin Village to grow ourselves. Isn't that good? Onogi said coldly. It's easy for you to say, but have you ever considered what Yenian Village will think of you? Will the daimyo of the Land of Earth recognize a member of the Akatsuki organization as Dokage? Dedala said. You can rest assured that the cooperation between me and Yurinan Village has been approved by the boss. We have reached a consensus, and with our boss's ability, it is still very easy to get the name of a mere land country. Onogi snorted coldly, and said, I don't believe your nonsense. But I will discuss this matter with your boss. If your boss doesn't respond, then you don't have to come back. After finishing speaking, Onoki was about to walk towards his room. Dedara quickly grabbed Onogi and said, Old man, what I said is from the bottom of my heart. I won't lie to you. I know what you are worried about. You are afraid that Yenian Village will become more and more declining or even disappear after being controlled by the Akatsuki organization. I am also afraid, but you can rest assured that with Shao's organizational ability, our Yenian Village will quickly become the strongest of the 5 great ninja villages, even Konoha. Onoki frowned and said, You really believe in the Akatsuki organization? I thought the Akatsuki organization would annex the entire ninja world. The Akatsuki organization is a bunch of lunatics. Dedara shook his head and said, Our Akatsuki organization will not annex the entire ninja world. The members of our Akatsuki organization are not ambitious, nor are they a bunch of lunatics. They always only do what they want to do. Oh, what do you mean by that? Dedara said. Our Akatsuki organization is a united organization. They unanimously support the new boss of the Akatsuki organization as the leader. We all respect the new boss of the Akatsuki organization, Obito Uchiha. You idiots, you are joking with your own life, that Uchiha Obito must be a bad bird. Onoki scolded. Dedala said, Old man, you have to figure it out, if Uchiha Obito didn't help me, Kuroto would be dead now. Onogi snorted coldly, and said, He helped cure Haitu, probably because he wants you to owe him a favor, and when you become Tukage, it's just easy to be manipulated by him. Do you think I don't know such a simple truth? Dedala said, Old man, you are too anxious. Don't say that the Shao organization doesn't mean to control Yenian Village, even if it does, it may not be a bad thing. Dedala smiled wryly, and said, Old man, you are unwilling to admit that Obito Uchiha is a good person. Well, since you say that, I have nothing to say. But what I want to say is that Akatsuki is an organization worthy of fellowship and a reliable partner. I hope you don't forget this. Onoki snorted coldly, and said, Don't worry, he saved Haitu's life, and I owe him a favor. As long as I'm here, the Akatsuki organization will never be the enemy of our Yenian Village. And I will support their actions at critical moments. It's okay. Well, that's good. Dedara smiled with satisfaction. Onoki then said, However, as long as you don't leave the Akatsuki organization for a day, you don't go back to Yenian Village, and I can't let you be Tukage, you should die. Dedara was also annoyed by Onoki, and scolded angrily, You old man, you really don't know what's good and what's wrong. Do you think who would want to be your broken shadow? HMPH, if you really have the ambition, then get out, I don't need you as a traitor to go back to Yenian Village. If you dare to destroy Yenian Village, I will kill you, and you won't even have time to regret it. Onoki warned coldly. Dedara said angrily, Onoki, I really didn't expect you, a stubborn old man, to be like this. Well, let's cut off our friendship from now on. After saying that, Dedara left angrily. Seeing this, Onoki's face was extremely gloomy. Old man, do you think I care about you being this Tsuchikage? When I become Tsuchikage, I will definitely expose all your tricks and ruin your reputation. Onoki recalled what Didera had said to him when he was still in the village, couldn't help but smiled wryly, and shook his head helplessly. When Obito saw Didera come back dejectedly, he understood that the matter had not been negotiated. Obito raised his eyebrows and asked Didera, "What? Failed?" Didera smiled wryly and said, "That old fellow Onoki is really stubborn. He refused to let Yenien village cooperate with our Akatsuki organization. He also said that if I didn't withdraw from the Shao organization, it would be impossible for me to return to Yenien village." Obito nodded and said, "This is normal. After all, Yenien village is the ninja village where Onogi has lived for decades. Onagi's sense of belonging to Yenien village is far stronger than anyone else. Even now, Obito has no way to get Onogi to agree to cooperate with Yenien village and Urinen village. But this is not absolutely impossible. For example, Obito thought about it, since Didera can't do it, then he can only look at the black soil. Although Kuroto is still a young girl now, he already has super combat experience. I believe that with a little training, Kuroto will definitely grow up, and Kuroto will be very powerful in the future, and Kuroto's IQ is beyond doubt. It would be too much for Obito to not let her be used by such a girl who is both smart and beautiful." Obito comforted Didera a few words, and after letting Didera go, he entered the Shinwei space alone. At this time, Haidu just fell asleep, and felt that most of his physical strength had recovered, and now he got out of bed and started playing with Pigman. Pigman is also an old man, he can't walk when he sees such a beautiful young lady as Haidu, so he pretends to be cute and lies on Haidu's chest. Haidu didn't dislike this guy's pig head, he hugged him directly, and then put Pigman on her tender thigh. Pigman also happily enjoyed the gentle touch of the black soil, with a contented expression. At this time, Obito came in, saw Haidu and Pigman together, with a smile on his face, and said, "Has your body recovered?" Seeing Obito coming, Haidu remembered the affair with him, blushed pretty, and nodded slightly. Seeing Haidu's shy appearance, Obito felt itchy in his heart, and said, "Haidu, I came to you because I have something to tell you." Haidu looked at Obito suspiciously, and asked, "What's the matter?" "It's about the Akatsuki organization." Hearing Obito mentioning the Akatsuki organization, Haidu's heart skipped a beat, and he asked, "What does the Akatsuki organization matter have to do with me?" After all, the Akatsuki organization has a bad reputation in the ninja world, catching tailed beasts everywhere, and the 5 major ninja villages basically regard the Akatsuki organization as a public enemy. It is related, and it is related to the entire Yenien village. I hope you can help our Shao organization. Help? How? Haidu asked doubtfully. Obito said, "Let me introduce myself. I am the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Uchiha Obito. Let's make it clear. Our Akatsuki organization hopes that Urinen village can cooperate with your Yenien village. It is best to achieve the degree of mutual flow between ninjas and civilians." Haidu was startled. "What? You want to cooperate with our Yenien village?" Obito nodded. "Yes, I know that doing this may disturb you, but this can be regarded as a solution to the difficulties you are currently encountering. Moreover, the Akatsuki organization will not interfere with you, and you can cooperate with other ninja villages." Haidu hesitated for a moment, and said, "However, our Yenien village is a very traditional village, and we can't live and communicate with other ninja villages at all. Our fighting power is definitely not as good as your Urin village. If we really have ninja contacts, then the ninjas from our Yenien village probably ran to your Urin village. Then Yenien village has become a vassal of other villages." Obito shook his head and said, "You misunderstood, it won't happen, because I hope Didera can be the new soil shadow of your Yenien village." And Didera also agreed to go back to Yenien village to inherit the soil shadow. When Haidu heard that Didera was willing to go back, he couldn't help but get excited. He frowned slightly and said, "I'm afraid this is impossible. Is brother Didera still a member of your Shao organization? If so, my grandfather would not agree to him inheriting Toying." Obito nodded, and said, "Yes, your grandpa would definitely not agree, but Didera is willing to stay with our Shao organization, so your grandpa can't say anything. Moreover, we are looking for Didera this time because we hope to let him be the new Dokage of your Yenien village, and then use his relationship to cooperate with our Urinen village." "Cooperation?" Haidu shook his head and said, "I'm afraid Yenien village will be annexed by you by then, and it's useless for you to tell me about this kind of thing. My grandpa Onoki is toying. I know that your grandfather Onoki will definitely not trust Didera to let him be Tukage, so I plan to choose someone else. Obito suddenly laughed inexplicably. Haidu asked with some doubts, change someone else? Who do you plan to replace? Obito suddenly hugged Haidu's slender waist, stared at her delicate face with fiery eyes, and said, of course it's you. When Haidu heard this, he was taken aback for a moment, and then his delicate and pretty face blushed immediately, and he said coquettishly, Obito, what nonsense are you talking about? Let it go quickly, how could I be a Tukage? Hearing the words, Obito increased the strength in his hands, and fixed his eyes on Haidu's beautiful eyes like fire. After being hugged by him, Haidu's body became weak, and he struggled angrily, let me go quickly. Obito didn't move at all. Obito's eyes widened, and as soon as Kuroto struggled, he felt that Kuroto's figure was too predictable, which made him feel hot. He didn't expect Kuroto to be so attractive. He had never seen a woman who could make him feel like this, and he didn't want to let go of his hand. You fool, you let go. Haidu said in a trembling voice. She felt that Obito would do something to her if this went on. She couldn't be sorry to Didera. Is this how you treat your savior? Seeing the struggling Kuroto, Obito felt a surge of excitement, and subconsciously kissed the pink lips of the beautiful woman in his arms. Being caught by him, Haidu was startled all over, his eyes were wide open, and he was extremely surprised. She never thought that Obito would take the opportunity to sneak attack her. Black Soil was full of anger and annoyance. She pushed Obito's shoulders hard with her arms, trying to push Obito away, but she found that she couldn't push Obito away at all. She couldn't help but cursed secretly, fool, how dare you take advantage of me? What did Haidu think of? And she was a little flustered again. She thought that if her first kiss was taken away by this bad man, what would Didera think? Didera must be very sad. Fool, I'm going to kill you. Haidu thought in his heart. He gritted his teeth fiercely, and bit Obito's lips fiercely in the next second. Although she was not strong, she used all her strength. With such a bite, blood immediately flowed from Obito's lips. After Haidu bit it, he was startled, thinking, did he bleed from biting this bad man? But to her surprise, she found that Obito just grinned and didn't bleed at all. Instead, he picked her up and walked into the room. Haidu was startled, and said, what are you going to do? What do you think? Obito smiled wickedly. Haidu's cheeks became even redder, and her delicate body kept twisting. Let me go, I don't like being bullied. Before she finished speaking, her small cherry mouth was already blocked by Obito. Kuroto was struggling at first, but after tasting the sweetness, he gradually indulged in Obito's gentle deep kiss. Black Soil's breathing became rapid. Just like that, Obito walked into the room with Haidu in his arms, and closed the door by the way, and there was a lingering feeling in the room. Pigman looked stupid outside the house, but he didn't expect the boss to be so fierce. Hearing the voice in the room, Pigman threw himself to the ground with admiration for Obito. My god, my boss is really good, and he got another woman so quickly. Pigman thought in his heart, as expected of the boss. If only Feifei could like me so much, Pigman thought. Pigman didn't feel sleepy anymore. He directly opened the browser of his laptop. Haidu didn't wake up until dawn, and suddenly felt a pain in her delicate body, and she couldn't help screaming in pain. When she woke up, she realized that she was already lying on the bed, and Obito next to her was sleeping soundly. A strange emotion suddenly rose in Haidu's heart. When she thought of what happened last night, she suddenly. I was with him last night. Haidu's heart was in a mess. Thinking of her contact with Obito, she couldn't help feeling ashamed and angry, and tears flowed down her delicate face. Obito was awakened by a burst of crying, and when he woke up, he saw Haidu hugging the quilt and crying. He couldn't help but feel a little guilty. He couldn't help stroking Haidu's fragrant back to comfort her, and said, Haidu, don't be afraid, you will be my woman from now on. Haidu raised his head, and Lihua said rainingly, Who promised you? Who promised you? You fool, I hate you to death, you fool who cut me into pieces. How can I face Grandpa? How can I face Brother Didela? Kuroto said and threw the pillow at Obito. Obito grabbed the pillow helplessly, and sighed, Haidu, I know we haven't met before, but I promise I'm not interested in you, but you have to give me a chance to show my sincerity. This is the first time I'm with a girl, and your figure, "Ah no, you have such a good personality, how could I not love you?" "Bah, I don't believe you," Haidu said disdainfully. "We've only met a few times, and you treat me, you must be a fool." "Sure enough, there is no good thing in the Shao organization. Don't worry, I really love you a long time ago, if you don't believe it, forget it." When Obito was watching anime in his previous life, he fell in love with Kuroto, Tsunade, Terumi-mei and other beautiful ninjas, especially Kuroto, a cool and sassy girl with such a good figure. Who wouldn't like it, but it's a pity that he and Terumi-mei didn't get married until Boruto. As for Deidara, he is really brain-teasing. Even if Deidara is not killed by Sasuke in the future, in his heart, art must be more important than black soil and Yenian village. Black soil might suffer a lot with Deidara. In addition, Obito hopes that Haidu will become one of his own people to help him control Yenian village. After thinking about it, it seems that there is only one way other than other gods, although it is more impulsive. Obito couldn't help sighing in his heart. Xiaodi, it's not a brother or a person, it's really a leg shadow. Seeing the tears continuously falling from Kuroto's beautiful eyes, Obito felt very distressed. Don't cry, Woo, Haidu was still crying there. Okay, don't cry. Seeing Kuroto crying sadly, seeing Kuroto's tears keep falling, seeing Kuroto's appearance makes people feel distressed, seeing her so sad, Obito also feels that he did too much to other girls yesterday. We can only compensate for the black soil as much as possible in the future. Obito tried to tell Haidu all the earthy love stories he learned on Blue Star, and Haidu slowly stopped crying. He comforted Kuroto again, and Obito sighed, so he could only go out first, which made the other girls sad, and he couldn't tell Kuroto about his plan to persuade Onogi for the time being. After Obito walked out of the Shinwei space, he didn't plan to go to Onoki and Deidara for the time being. After all, he gave Xiaodi a green hat, and seeing Xiaodi now would probably be embarrassing. As for Onoki, this old thing is served with delicious food and drink in Urin village, so there is no need to worry about it. Furthermore, even if Onoki and Deidara knew that Haidu was taken away by him, they still had nothing to do with him. This was his own territory, not to mention that they were not as strong as Obito, so there was nothing they could do about it. Obito decided to go to Konoha village first, find Sensho Hashirama and Orochimaru, and then get some research on living Hashirama cells. As for the purpose, it is naturally to give black soil more compensation. Konoha, Orochimaru's house. Oshimaru is no longer the traitor that Konoha wants because of Obito's reuse. Konoha also allocated funds to build him a small villa. At this moment, in the living room of Orochimaru's house, Orochimaru is sitting on the sofa, holding a cup of black tea in his hand and drinking slowly. Standing next to him is his old assistant, Medicine Master Do. Ever since Yoshido found out that his future self came to the present, he immediately felt admiration for himself. He never thought that his future self would completely inherit the mantle of Orochimaru, learn immortal arts, and even possess Kage-class strength. After listening to Yoshido's words, Orochimaru expressed his appreciation for Do, and gave him a lot of resources and ninjutsu scrolls. Master Orochimaru, what should we study next? The research on intercolumnar cells has been completed. Should we study Uchiha Madara cells? Pharmacist turned to Orochimaru and asked. You are such a genius, but you may be disappointed. You told me that Uchiha Madara has been burned to ashes by him. Orochimaru said with some regret. Yoshido was also very disappointed when he heard this, but soon he cheered up again. It's okay, Master Orochimaru. When I am as awesome as my future self, I will continue to work hard. One day I will definitely research the formula of Uchiha Madara cells. Well, come on, you are a very smart person, Duo. At this time Obito came out of the Kamui space in Orochimaru's living room. After seeing Obito, Oshimaru and Todo were startled. Orochimaru licked his lips, and said with a smile, Obito-kun, you are really a dragon who sees the head but does not see the end, and is always elusive. Yakushi looked at Obito and swallowed his saliva, but he heard that it was this Uchiha clansman who cleaned up all the high-level members of Konoha village and turned the Akatsuki organization upside down. Pharmacist Do has been hiding in the laboratory during this time, but he often hears people in the village discussing Obito. He also knew that Orochimaru and Obito had a good relationship. Obito ignored Yaoshido, just smiled slightly, looked at Dashawan and said, Oshawan, I am here this time mainly to get more intercolumnar cells, and also to see if you have any more inventions. Orochimaru chuckled, took out a few bottles of golden orange liquid from the test bench behind him, handed it to Obito, and said, this is the newly improved intercolumnar cell. Obito opened the cap of the bottle, sniffed the breath inside, and found that the smell was indeed different from the previous intercolumnar cells, and Obito also discovered a very wonderful thing. He can't even name it, but it smelled good, and Obito couldn't help but took another deep breath. What is this? Orochimaru chuckled. This is the gene added with Naruto-kun. You don't know the function of this gene. Let me tell you, this gene can improve the physical fitness of an ordinary person several times, that is to say, this person can reach twice, 3 times or even 4 times the level of ordinary people. Hiss. Obito's eyes widened. He didn't expect Orochimaru to be so crazy, not only to study the cells of Senjujuma, but also to study the cells of Uzumaki Naruto. Discrimination is also reasonable when you think about it. After all, Naruto and Hashirama are both the reincarnation of Asura, and Naruto's body is also sealed with Yin Juwei. Although Naruto's genes are not as overbearing and vital as Hashirama's genes, they have other functions. Orochimaru continued. In the past, the cells between the pillars were too domineering, and the users could not match the cells between the pillars, and half of the body would be uncomfortable like Danzo. Now, after adding the cells of Uzumaki Naruto, they have more gentleness. They can properly adapt to the bodies of various people and can also improve people's physical fitness. After transplantation, all diseases will not invade. Orochimaru's tone was very relaxed, but it was very shocking to Yaoshido and Obito's ears. As expected of Orochimaru, Obito thought to himself, he didn't expect Uzumaki Naruto's gene to have such an effect. If other people knew about it, they would be envious to death. Obito asked, Oshimaru, you didn't hurt Naruto, did you? Orochimaru shook his head, and said, how could it be? Obito-kun, even if I want to do something, Naruto is Konoha's prince now, so many people are looking at him, I don't have this chance, I just used some small tricks to trick this simple boy. Seeing the harmless smile on Orochimaru's face, Obito shook his head helplessly. Obito took over the new Hashirama cells from Orochimaru. No, it should be called now, Hashirama Naruto cells or Asura cells are more appropriate. I don't know if Orochimaru can use Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Sasuke to develop Indra cells in the future. The genes in Hashirama are very domineering, but if it is Uchiha Madara's cells, I'm afraid they won't be so domineering. After all, Asura and Indra are different. Orochimaru is the most powerful scientist in Konoha, and he has a lot of medical technology. Maybe there will be a way in the future. After Obito collected the cells in the pillar space, he left Orochimaru's house. Obito did not return to the Akatsuki organization, but chose to go to the Hokage building to find Minato, Kakashi and the others, as well as Nohara Rin. After all, Nohara Rin can be regarded as his original body's first love, and now he has provoked Xiaonan and Haidu again. Should I tell Lin about this? It is estimated that Lin is going to get into trouble with herself again. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.